Then he pulled open his bloody shirt and was even more shocked when he saw that his body had been cut open by someone, but was still kind enough to sew it back up. Oh my God, did they really cut my kidney? My kidney was cut out. Call the police. I have to call the police. I have to find my kidney and regain my strength, he said as he reached forward because there was his phone there, but his body was shaking nonstop. He intended to jump forward, but his face fell to the floor. His white butt was pointing up to the sky. At this moment, his memories from before the miscarriage came flooding back. There were two masked people whispering to each other, Dr. Lin. Isn't it just taking the kidney? The environment is not good. The price of kidneys has dropped sharply. The higher-ups told us to take everything we can. You mean empty him out? What's the problem? At this point, he felt incredulous again. How can a mouth of 36.7 degrees say such cold words, but why am I not dead yet? As he spoke, he gritted his teeth and tried to reach for the phone. But as soon as he looked at the phone screen, he only saw an app with a strange, heart-shaped image. The name of the app was The World of Desire. Seeing that the main character immediately shouted, "What the hell? Where's the call button? Are you playing with me? I'm about to die and you're giving me a game." Suddenly the main character felt dizzy, wondering if it was because the wound was cracking. Then he glanced up and suddenly made an sound, because right now in front of him was the image of his great-grandmother waving goodbye. Her mouth still had a bright smile. Great-grandmother. Why do I see my great-grandmother already? I don't want to go yet. But he looked back at the heart smile on the phone with his grandmother's smile and felt something was wrong. The more he looked, the more strange it seemed like something was wrong. Then the main character decided to take a risk. What is this thing called World of Desire? Started saying that the main character immediately pressed on the phone. Immediately after that there was a sound and image that accompanied it. What is it, your forbidden desire? Death cannot take away human desires. Drunkenness makes desire immortal. The main character was sweating profusely when he saw this, wondering what the hell is this? And the phone screen shows the words, "I will listen to the whispers of God. Choose yes or no. Yes, I want to live on. I want to find my kidney and regain my strength," he said, and immediately pressed the right button on the screen. A second later, a demon mask appeared along with strange spell characters. The demon's two eyes suddenly emitted a dazzling yellow light. The main character opened his eyes and found himself transported into the world of the game. This place was full of desire. The trees were withered and the bones were blurry. The full moon shone right next to the electric lights. Next to it was a lantern hanging on the tree. And the main character also gives us good news that he is still alive. The bad news is that all the body parts are gone. Suddenly a beam of light hit him in the face. Damn, what is this? This is a bus. The car just stopped, and a pair of slender legs with sexy black stockings slowly stepped down. The main character saw that and exclaimed, "Oh my God, a beautiful girl in black stockings." But the next second he had to change his mind when the owner of those sexy legs approached and looked at him with her face covered in ugly makeup. Her eyes seemed to say, "What the hell are you looking at?" Seeing that the main character immediately broke out in a cold sweat and was speechless for a moment. After a while he sighed and shook his head, pretending to be calm, and said, "I take back what I said earlier. You can only be considered a woman in black stockings." The demon was confused after hearing that, not understanding what the guy in front of him was barking about. Seeing that the main character immediately asked him, "What am I supposed to be scared according to protocol?" Then he kept patting his chest and turned on the daredevil mode and said, "My whole body is hollowed out. What else can I lose? Self-esteem doesn't exist anymore. Or can you kill a dead man? Ha ha ha. Thinking about it. My already empty chest feels wider." The demon was sweating helplessly, not understanding what the crazy guy in front of him was babbling about. I thought she would get angry and knock on the main guy a few times, but the female ghost trembled, put her arm back and forced each word, "Please, get on the bus." From inside the bus, red blood gushed out. The sound was like the sound of wind whistling. Just looking at it was creepy. But the main character is the type of person who has nothing to lose, so he immediately took the risk and followed. But before getting on the car, he said, Okay, let me see what this is about." "Young master, please get in the bus," he said while showing his strangest smile. The female demon looked at her dumbfoundedly. Seeing that it was not enough, the main character said again, "What, didn't hear me clearly," I said. "Young master, please get in the bus," he yelled and shook his hand so hard that he revealed his dick. The lantern hanging on the tree must grow fucking eyes to look at his dick. The female demon seemed to have been angered. Her face began to crack. Red blood kept flowing down from the cracks. The female demon's eyes were white. Her mouth was torn all the way to her ears, as if she wanted to show off to the main character. Her cold voice said, "Get on the bus," she said, then raised her hideous face again to scare him. Seeing that, he immediately rushed over Humph, a person with no internal organs like me. "Am I afraid of someone like you?" he said, and then punched the female demon in the face, making her head spin. After beating him, he said aggressively, "Now tell me, young master, please get in the bus." The female demon was beaten until her face was distorted. Although angry, she could only grit her teeth and endure. I was careless. The main character asked again, "Are you going to say it or not?" This time the female devil really wanted to start biting his head, but for some reason she tried to hold back. "Young master, please get in the bus." Hearing those words, he immediately sneered, "Huh, that's more like it." Having said that, the main character immediately got on the bus. But the bus door looked like someone had cast a spell. Just stepped up, and the body was dressed in an extremely cool outfit. I also got a new outfit. As soon as he finished speaking, the voice in the game said again, "At this moment, the gears of fate begin to move." But seriously, this bus is really shabby. Hearing him say that the people who got on the bus earlier all glanced at him. There were all kinds of people on the bus, young and old, even pregnant women. But the main character only paid attention to the hot girl sitting alone. Just like that, he walked over, sat down, and started a conversation. "How do you address me, beautiful lady?" The girl in pink stammered, But before he could finish his sentence, the sound of the bus engine starting rang out. Accordingly, the female demon also spoke, "Welcome to Desire World. Listen to the whisper of the gods." Feeling angry by the interruption, Maine made a tisk sound. The demon said, with big eyes and small eyes, "The god says your challenge begin now," at the same time as the main character is outside the real world, at the abandoned factory. The doctor who removed all the organs from the main character's body is slowly walking out. Facing him was a mysterious woman who had just stepped out of a luxury car. The woman saw the doctor and asked, "Did you take everything?" "Don't worry, I got everything done." Hearing the doctor say that, the woman licked her lips and praised, "You did a good job." The rude doctor interrupted, "You're welcome." But before he could finish, he was shocked when he saw the gun pointed at him. Bang, one shot, a copper coin was stuck on his forehead. After the shot, the woman said, "Next time, don't do anything foolish, okay?" Seconds later, the doctor's body fell down with a loud bang. His blood kept flowing out. Suddenly, the box he was carrying continuously emitted an ah sound. The mysterious woman sat down, holding her heart with both hands that was making a sound. Then she stuck out her demon tongue and said, "I heard it," and then everyone knew what she did to the main character's heart. What a pity, right? Such a hot body. But she's a demon, hoo-hoo. Now let's go back to the bus where the world of desire is. This is after the female demon talks about the god's whisper. Your challenge is called abandonment. The mission requirements are very simple. Please listen carefully, challengers. In 10 minutes, we will pass a big bridge. This bridge has not been repaired for many years and cannot withstand so many people. So by the time we pass, it will collapse, and everyone will die. But if just one person gets off, we'll cross that bridge safely. As for who this person is, you can vote to decide, but can also be forced to expel. Only those who complete the final challenge will God fulfill your desire. Now you have 9 minutes left. Speaking of this, there was a person who, although scared, still tried to ask what would happen to the person getting off the bus. Hearing that question, the female demon coldly replied, "Of course that person will dead." Hearing that, the main character rubbed his chin and thought, Death isn't scary. The scary thing is definitely not having time to delete the history of destroying dark webs. Wait, am I dead yet? While the main character was thinking, someone raised their hand and asked to stay. The pregnant woman said, "No, don't let me get off the car. My baby isn't even born yet. I can't die." A man said he had cancer. A father has a son said, "My son is still in the hospital room. I can't get out of the car." There was a firefighter's son who said, "My father is a firefighter. He was badly burned while saving someone. I had to save him." So everyone gave reasons to stay. No matter who cared, the main character could only sit still with his mouth open in panic. But he didn't dare to say out loud his thoughts. Oh my God, are all your reasons that hard? So it seems like I have to find internal organs. It's not like that's a big deal. While everyone was panicking and wanted to stay out of nowhere, a middle-aged man calmly made a suggestion. Time is limited. I think we should still vote to decide. Based on the speed of reason, the first type is a burden on the team. Although it's a pity, I still vote to eliminate this girl. Then the man pointed his index finger at the pregnant woman. But that opinion was followed by others. That's right. This is our first challenge after all. What awaits us behind, no one knows. The pregnant woman heard those indifferent words from everyone and was so unwilling that she cried and screamed, I am a pregnant woman. Are you still human when you do this? Are you still human? The middle-aged man immediately questioned back, This is a world of desire. Each of us has desires we want to fulfill. You think we are cruel? So what about you? You used pregnancy to kidnap our morality to make us die, aren't you cruel? But no matter how desperate the pregnant woman was, the others had already thoroughly exposed the demon within. Everyone agreed with the decision to abort a pregnant woman despite her pleas. Please guys, don't let me off the bus, but that feeble effort couldn't shake the kindness of the others. They just grabbed her. Some people opened the car door and others tried to push her out. In that situation, there were people who were cruel enough to take action, but there were also people who just sat there and watched. But there was only one person who seemed to be enjoying the scene before their eyes. None other than this female devil. She licked her lips and said the bridge is almost here. But this expression of delight met the main character's sharp gaze. In the main character's mind, the question arose, why does she look like she has achieved some goal? Could it be? Thinking that next to him, the pregnant woman was pushed out by other people. At the last moment, she still tried to reach out for help, hoping someone would help, and that was the end of the game. But the main character said, There's no such thing, honey. Immediately, an arm grabbed the pregnant woman's hand. He used force to save her and replace her by a hair's breadth. Then the main character said to the others, Isn't it a deciding vote? I haven't voted yet? Others looked angry and said, It doesn't matter whether you vote or not. This is everyone's decision. Do you intend to die for her? He replied indifferently, Your logic was wrong from the start. It's true that she said someone had to come down to cross the bridge, but she didn't say that person had to choose from among us, the main character said as he pointed at the female demon, making her startled and panicked, not responding to his words. She immediately changed the subject and urged everyone to act. I'm warning you guys, we're going to cross the bridge in less than a minute. If you don't throw her out, you'll all die. Seeing that the main character smiled and said, She's in a hurry, then leaned against the middle-aged man next to him. This is your guess. You can't. Before he could finish his sentence, the main character said, Think carefully. You guys claim it's for the team. Throw her away. You are good. I am good. Everyone is good. Then pointed to the sky and said loudly, Now who agrees and who disagrees? Hearing the main character's words made sense. The whole group excitedly said, If we let the NPC get off the car, we don't need to kill anyone anymore. That's right. Why didn't you think of that earlier? I agree. I agree too. Then everyone looked at the female demon with bullet-shaped eyes. The female ghost saw that and trembled in fear, saying, You. The main character knew he was right, so he arrogantly walked over and said, Now please get out of the car, princess. The female demon heard that and panicked, shouting, No, you can't force me out of the car. The main character calmly pushed the glass and gently reasoned, When I got in the car, I slapped you once, but you didn't fight back. If I'm not mistaken, because of some rule, you can't hurt the guest, right? But no need for her to answer anymore. Just looking at her silent, dumbfounded face as if she'd been hit where it hurts was enough to know. Seconds later, she angrily reached out to the main character. You insolent? What do you mean insolent? How can someone like you be on the same bus as me? As he spoke, the main character rolled up his sleeves and pushed hard, causing the female demon to grimace. Then kicked her out of the bus door. But looking at her unwilling face and screaming, Ad wanted to kick her a few more times to feel satisfied, haha. Back to the story. After someone got off the bus, the rear window of the bus immediately showed the words, Next bus, weeping, dusk. Consider this level passed. Great. So it turns out that it's really possible to let the staff regret the ticket and get off the bus. Actually, I wanted to say, how can you let a pregnant woman get off the bus? That's right. That's right. While everyone was playing the rice paper flipping trick, the main character turned away. Suddenly he felt something was glowing blood in his shirt. Just took it out and suddenly exclaimed, "Damn, this is loot dropping." Then from inside the main character's head, a strange voice continuously emitted, "Young man, come and see. You will have the power of the vengeful spirit. Young man, come and see. You will have the power of the vengeful spirit." The main character felt a headache and cried out, "Ouch, what dirty thing has entered my head? Is this serious equipment?" In his hand, at this time, was the evil spirit bus ticket. Behind him, at this moment, there seemed to be a demon with a hideous appearance. Although it was a bit strange, it seemed to be a summoning system prop. Forget it, my life is hard. The fact that the equipment fell out is already the result of my daily good deeds and virtues. I accept it without shame. As he spoke, he quickly stuffed the strange ticket he had just received into his pocket. Suddenly, the car stopped suddenly. Everyone in the car was shocked and asked, "What's going on? Why did the bus stop? Are they asking us to get off?" The main character also wonders if the next game is about to start. The scene where the car stopped was a very wild place that looked like a horror movie. After the car door opened, the main character was the first to step out. While walking, the main character's eyes suddenly met something, what is this? While he was confused, the pregnant woman who had just come down was also surprised. Oh shit, it's a doll with a radiant smile. This one must have just come out of the garbage dump. Scene changes to the real world. In a strange room, a woman's voice is screaming, "Why is this happening? Why is this happening? Hey, isn't this the female ghost who works as a traffic inspector on the bus?" Right now her face is covered with sores like a rag. She looked at her face in the broken mirror and continuously screamed in denial of reality, No, this isn't me. I could have returned to my original state. It's all his fault. I want him dead. I want him dead." Back to the male lead's side. The pregnant woman saw the doll on the ground and was so scared that she backed away and screamed, "Ah, there's a ghost." The people in the car saw this and ran out to watch. What happened? Ghost. What ghost? Don't push. Don't push. Meanwhile, the main character came forward and kicked the doll away, saying, "There's no ghost or anything. It's just a ragged doll." Behind each person getting off the bus, don't push. Then the group of people gradually got off. Wait until there is no one left on the bus. The monster bus also automatically started the engine and drove away. The sweet girl in pink wondered, "The car is already left. How do we get out of here?" The middle-aged man in a suit heard this and laughed. "Ha ha ha, whether we can leave alive or not is still unknown. We won't die here, will we? This place looks so gloomy. I don't want to die yet." While everyone was feeling confused, a woman came out from inside and said, "What are you guys making noise about? Are you the volunteers this time? I am the dean here, follow me." Then the group of people followed the dean inside. Inside the hospital, everywhere was unclean. The spider webs were bigger than pigs. On the ceiling there were arms hanging down, looking very creepy. As they walked, the dean said, "You guys came at the right time. Those old men are hungry." The main character thought to himself, "Why do these words sound so strange?" Suddenly the girl in pink screamed in fear and hugged the main character's hand. The main character happily praised good and blushed when 2 lumps of fat pressed into his hand. But life is like a dream. I thought it was a dream, but it turned out that the girl in pink was just scared of the arms and legs on the ceiling. The main character knew that and immediately scratched his head in embarrassment, saying, "So it turns out she was scared, I thought." After a while, the director stopped and turned to instruct everyone. "The 3 of you are in charge of 3 rooms. The doors of the rooms have information left by the children. You must rely on this information to take care of the elderly. Otherwise, you will have to bear the consequences. At the end right of the first floor is the kitchen. There is a public toilet in every room. Our situation is a bit special. You must remember what I just said." Then the group was led by the dean to the hall of the elderly. She took something out of her pocket and said, "This is your mission today." "Go now, they can't wait longer," the director said, and threw a pile of notes to the group of people behind her. After finishing his duty, the director left. While walking, she reminded him the most important thing. After dark, stay in your room and don't go out. It's best not to sleep too soundly. After a while, the main character went to the designated room. While walking, he complained. So much talk about salary, the director didn't mention a word. In the main character's hand at this time was a piece of paper with the number 203 written on it, the task of delivering food to the elderly. Just finished reading the note on the door and immediately said, "Mute, irritable, dirty, full, cooked, but volunteers don't get paid." "Damn it, I can only go to the kitchen first," the main character said, feeling angry when he realized he was working for free. Then he had to struggle to go down to the first floor, but it seemed like his every move was being watched by someone. The rooms here were all closed. Suddenly the room in front let out a loud laugh. "Ha ha ha, it smells so good." "Delicious? I still want to eat," another panicked voice continuously shouted. Don't help me." Then outside the door, blood continuously flowed out. The main character saw this and stopped, then said, "It seems that if we don't take good care of this mission, it will be life-threatening." Then he went to the kitchen. As soon as he entered, he saw everyone busy preparing food to complete the mission. In front, a fat man was chatting with a middle-aged man. As soon as he approached, he said, "Mr. Liu, what kind of flirt are you?" Mr. Liu replied, "I'm not flirtatious." No, Mr. Liu, you misunderstood. I'm from the East. I'll help you cook some food." The main character didn't care. He looked around and thought, "Oh, anyway, cook the old man some cooked meat first." While the other two were talking, the main character took out a pan and put it on the stove, waited for it to heat up, then the main character picked up a piece of rib and put it in. Meanwhile, his eyes turned to old Liu when he heard him say, "It's really not my first time entering the world of desire. But each challenge is never repeated, so I don't know how to avoid danger. But I can remind you of one thing." The main character standing in the corner was sprinkling salt on the ribs. Tisk, tisk, he fried them until both sides were golden brown. Even the kids in the next room wanted to cry. Meanwhile, everyone gathered attentively to listen to old Liu say, "Desire is fine, wish is fine. If you can go to the end, I advise you all to not do anything to bring the dead back to life." One person wondered and asked why. Old Liu immediately replied, "The dead cannot come back to life. How can you be sure by reviving them through this method? Will they still be the same person they were before?" Hearing this, the man behind him trembled and wanted to ask again to be sure, You mean that being resurrected through this method is a ghost?" Old Liu replied, "I don't know what it is, but I know it's definitely not a human." Here the main character has finished making delicious ribs and put them on the plate. Old Liu said again, "I know only people who are about to die or have some extreme desire will enter the world of desire. So what I say now is very difficult for you to understand, but I still have to say it. When desire clings to the dead, it is the opposite of liberation." While he was speaking, the main character silently walked past him. Surely after hearing this, he had many thoughts in his head. A moment later, he arrived at room 203. He knocked on the door and said, "Hello, meal delivery." But waiting for a while without seeing any movement made him feel uncomfortable. There was no other way. He had to open the door and go inside, saying, "If you don't open the door, I'll go in myself. It's time to eat." Hearing that the old man on the sickbed turned his head to look. His face was haggard, as if he had been starved for weeks or had some kind of disease. His pupils were glowing a strange blue. The main character approached and gently placed the plate of ribs he had just made on the table, seeing that the old man also stood up from the hospital bed. Then the old man slowly walked towards the table with his back bent like a skeleton. The old man didn't say anything, just smelled the ribs and devoured them. The main character saw that and immediately reminded him, "Eat slowly, don't choke." This time the task was quite simple. I'm really lucky he was happily smug. Then suddenly his face turned pale and he shouted, "Oh my God." At this moment, the old man in front of him had turned into a terrifying, blood-sucking demon. His tongue and fangs had grown abnormally long. The corners of his eyes were continuously streaming with tears as he shouted that it was hard to eat. Then he pounced and punched a hole in the main character's chest. Blood from there kept dripping wet on the shirt he was wearing. But even though his heart was pierced, he didn't scream in pain. Instead, he got angry and shouted at the demon, "If it's not to your taste, then say it. I'll replace it with intestines if you want. Don't just grab people's hearts. Do you have any manners?" The devil doesn't care what you say, he just keeps poking left and right but can't find anything to pull out. After a while, the demon felt something was wrong, and sweat started pouring from his face. He pulled his arm out and then put it back in to see if it had jerked or not. In his mind, he wondered, why doesn't this guy have any internal organs? But the demon's hands were digging, and its mouth kept saying, "Abba, Abba," which made the main character very angry. But no matter how hard he searched, he couldn't find anything. At this point, he was panicking, and sweat kept pouring out. He cursed in his heart. Fuck, is he still human? The main character saw that and said, "Old man, are you sweating? I didn't expect that I would be eaten alive and then die. So you're a ghost, and you want to eat me too, right?" As he spoke, the strange ticket in his mouth came out. The next second, he summoned a demon and said, "If the tiger doesn't show its power, do you really think I'm Hello Kitty? It was you who dug out my heart," and after seeing the extremely tense face and another demon wrapped around the main character, the demon felt confused and couldn't understand what terrible thing was about to happen to him. Boom! The floor was shattered when the demon's head was grabbed by the main character and slammed down. "You have a heavy taste, right?" But he asked without waiting for the demon to answer and immediately picked up its head. Then slammed it down again. "I gave you food, but you didn't eat it right." After hitting it, he picked up the demon's face. It immediately cried out in pain, blood continuously flowing from its face. But once again, he continued to hit down and said, "Do you really think I have no temper? Why don't you ask for forgiveness?" The demon heard that and cried out, "Abba, Abba, Abba." But even though he knew what it meant, he still sneered and said, "Aya, I don't understand." Just then, the door behind the room opened again. The pregnant woman looked in and said, "Can you help me?" But before she could finish her sentence, her eyes widened. She was horrified to see the scene of blood splattered in the room. The main character's red eyes were looking back. Next to him was an old man covered in blood lying motionless. Not to mention the sturdy floor was smashed to pieces. But the pregnant woman seemed to be witnessing this scene for the first time, so she was scared and turned pale. Then she fainted and fell backwards. The main character saw that and was also surprised to look at her. Then he turned back and grabbed the old demon's neck and said, "Nhiem asked me to take care of you, but why do I really want to smash your head?" Meanwhile, the demon kept urging, "Kill him, kill, explode, head, explode, head." The old devil whose head was grabbed was scared and cried Abaya. The demon behind said, "That's right. Kill him, I want you." Right when the main character was about to crush the old demon's head, according to the demon behind him. Then suddenly it disappeared into nothingness. After a moment of bewilderment, he shouted, 3 minutes only, is that okay? Use it again. Summoning ability. But when he made a strange pose for show, he received information. Each time you use the evil spirit ticket, it takes 3 hours. That means it will take another 3 hours before you can use it again. Knowing that the main character's face turned pale and he sweated. "Are you kidding me? This thing still has a summoning time." The next second he turned to make peace with the demon he had just beaten. Boss, listen to me. What happened earlier was actually a misunderstanding." The demon heard that and was startled, shaking his head repeatedly. Seeing that, he wiped his sweat and said to himself, "Yeah, he's gone. Could it be that I punched him just now and he got scared?" Then he rolled up his sleeves and said to the old devil with an evil smile, "So do you eat?" The old devil heard that and was scared, turned away, and kept stuffing food into his mouth. "That's right. That's good," said. Then he thought again. It seems that evil tickets will affect people's minds. If he wasn't such a civilized person, he wouldn't be able to keep thinking about blowing up other people's heads. I don't know what will happen next. The evil spirit ticket is my last card. It's best not to let anyone else know, he thought as he pulled the pregnant woman into the room. The pregnant woman who was dragged away woke up. She was confused and let out a. The main character leaned close to her ear and said, "Are you awake?" Seeing that the pregnant woman was scared and screamed help, and the main character was speechless. He had no choice but to cover her mouth and reassure her, but it smelled like a cockroach. "Don't be afraid, listen to me. When things come to this, I can only show my cards. Actually, I'm a related department. There are things that you know too much about, which isn't good. Generally speaking, I'm a good person, so I hope you can keep my secret for me." The pregnant woman replied, I will definitely keep it a secret." After the main character finished cheating, he wiped his nose and asked, "Well, what did you come to me for help with?" The pregnant woman heard the question and quickly approached him, hugging his legs and begging him, "Please help me. I can promise you anything. This place is so dangerous the evil spirit will enter during the summoning time you have. To be careful." He thought and then replied, "I'll tell you in advance I'm willing to help you, but I can't guarantee it and I can't put myself in it." The maid heard him say he would help and was so happy she said, "Yes, yes, thank you. Thank you. Go ahead, tell me your story. My name is Yun Li. My task is to bathe an old lady, but before could know what Miss Yun Li said, the author fast-forwarded to an hour later. In the main hall, the other people gathered together after completing their tasks. One person had his ear bitten off because the old lady he was in charge of insisted that he didn't clean it properly. Another person was assigned to help an old man massage, but unexpectedly, the old man's back was rotten, so he lost 2 fingers. There was also someone who, if he hadn't run fast, would have gone to see his grandparents sooner than expected. The voice was bewildered and exclaimed, "So scary, what kind of challenge is this?" At this moment, everyone saw old Liu walking towards them on crutches. Just looking down, I saw that he had lost one leg. Someone worriedly asked, "Mr. Liu, are you okay?" Old Liu gritted his teeth and replied, "I only lost a leg and I'm not dead yet. It hasn't been long since it started and already so many people have been lost. Speaking of which, where is that formidable young man on the car? I don't see him. He must have been eaten too right." Suddenly, the headmistress with a bloody snout shouted, "What are you standing here for?" Then he took a towel to wipe the blood from his mouth and asked everyone, "Is the mission done?" Everyone saw her covered in blood and were confused. "What's with the blood on her? Did she just eat someone? She can't finish the mission, she's not going to eat us, is she? But these missions can't be completed." Hearing that, the director immediately exclaimed, "Humph. It's okay if the mission isn't completed. You volunteers can't do the work. But the taste isn't bad, it smells really good. Is this something a human can say? It seems like she's not human either." While everyone was panicking and scared, the headmistress looked somewhere else. As soon as she saw the main character, she pointed and called out, "What are you two standing so far away for?" Seeing that, the main character smiled to himself, thinking that of course I wanted to survive and ask about the situation. Not here to admire you. But his expression and words after that were contrary to his thoughts. He blushed and smiled, rubbing his hands in flattery. "Director, of course I'm looking at you. Who knew that I would be so surprised by your beauty that I couldn't stand it anymore? I'll come over now." The pregnant woman next to him saw this, and her head full of question marks popped up, thinking, "Is this really someone from the organizing committee not picky at all?" The dean then also came forward, put her hand on the main character's shoulder, and said, "Humph. I came here to remind you that if you don't complete the task and get reported, I can only do my job. Now, it's 2 hours before dark. Whoever hasn't finished their work, hurry up. Don't let those old men wait too long." Speaking of this, the headmistress leaned close to his ear and whispered, "That's right. Tonight I will come find you alone." When she left, the main character scratched his head and his mouth twitched, thinking, "Oh my God, why is she still taking it seriously? I just said it casually. Did I touch some mechanism I don't want to become an evil spirit knight?" The others immediately came up and said, "You're not injured. You didn't jump. You completed the mission." The main character immediately replied, No, I was just lucky. Looking at your appearance, the mission must have been completed very easily. If you discover any game mechanics, please tell us." Old Liu shamelessly stepped forward to play the moral strangulation game. After all, everyone is human and should help each other, right? Hearing this, the others also chimed in. "That's right. If you were willing to save the pregnant woman next to you, you wouldn't be able to just sit back and watch us die now, right? What did you find out in the end? It's only 2 words, tell me quickly." The main character didn't reply, but thought to himself, this man in a suit is good at moral blackmail. Just like Yun Li last time pushing me to the forefront with a few words. So while everyone was criticizing him for being selfish, the main character shouted loudly, "Shut up, I hate people who kidnap moral blackmail the most." Then he grabbed the pregnant woman's hand and said as he left, "These people don't have any useful clues, let's go." Seeing this, old Liu shouted, "Wait! Although I don't have any clues, you probably want to know about the world of desire, right?" The main character glanced back and asked, "Are you willing to tell me?" Old Liu didn't respond right away, but took something out of his pocket. He lit a cigarette and said, I'm willing to tell everyone about the situation of my last time participating in the lust game and exchange clues with you. Then he took another drag of his cigarette. Exhaling smoke, he said mysteriously, It was that game that let me see the truth of the game of desire. My name is Liu Jianggu Yi because of gambling debt loan sharking. I often get beaten half to dead by debt collectors. But one time I was beaten half to death by debt collectors. Then suddenly the phone screen showed the lust game application. Then I entered the world of desire to complete a challenge. At that time, my desire was money. I needed 1 million. After returning to the real world, my desire came true. Although received 100,000 in account, but my father fell from the construction site where he was working and became a vegetable. I got exactly 100 million in compensation. My desire did come true, but the price is my father. My father is still in the hospital. Speaking of this, the old man stopped holding his head and looking miserable, saying, Because of my desire he became a vegetable. The main character listened and then silently thought, It seems like the method to fulfill desire doesn't fall from the sky, but rather uses a method that seems reasonable to fulfill it. My desire is to find my internal organs, so what comes back may be rotten internal organs, or something that touches the person who took my internal organs. So in the end, when I fulfill my desire, I have to try to avoid bad results. He was thinking when suddenly old Liu shouted, That's it. So I beg you to help me. Each of us has to take charge of 3 rooms. Now this is the first one, but I already lost a leg. The main character heard the old man's plea and turned away without responding. He thought to himself, Don't tell me now. I don't know if hitting the old man's head will work or not. Even if I tell you guys this move, you guys will only die faster. Then he raised 5 fingers to show his refusal. Sorry, I said it before. Now I really can't figure out any game mechanics. Good luck, everyone, said the main character, then pulled the pregnant woman's hand and left. As he walked, he said, I can only ask this old man. I hope he can get some clues. Just entered room 203 but did not see the old man on the bed. Turns out he was sitting huddled and trembling, hiding from the main character. The pregnant woman next to her asked curiously, Aren't you part of the organizing committee? Why didn't you help them just now? The main character asked again. Just now they heartlessly threw you off the bus, and now you're speaking up to help them. Looking at the head, he was complaining, Isn't the life of the organizers' people's life still a life? Moreover, I'm just pretending. The pregnant woman heard him ask, touched her belly, and replied, If at that time I really needed someone to come down, I probably would have made the same choice as them. After all, I have desires that need to be fulfilled. At this moment, the pregnant woman radiated the bright aura of a gentle mother. She said, My husband is a firefighter. Not long ago, he died during a rescue mission. When I had an ultrasound, I received information that the fetus was deformed. We only have this child. Although the doctor said the fetus is deformed and cannot survive no matter how helpless I am, I still want to keep his child. As long as I can complete the challenge, everything will be fine, right? The main character heard Yunli's story, and his eyes became a bit sad. He replied, Yes, it will be fine. I didn't expect this child to be the next generation of the hero. Then he turned back to the old ghost and said, Come here, I have something to ask you. Seeing that the old ghost was startled and scared, as soon as he saw the main character put down some papers, he immediately shed tears and moved aside, afraid of being beaten. The main character immediately raised his voice, Hey, if you tell the truth, you will be lenient. Understand. Why did you want to dig out my organs just now? Write it down quickly. Hearing that, the old ghost quickly wrote everything down on paper without any delay. After reading it, the main character thought the dean once said that the information outside the door was left by their children, but now the old man said that he doesn't like to eat well-cooked meat. Thinking of this, he angrily clenched his fists and said with a frown, So that's it. Is this a trap? Miss Yunli next to him curiously asked, What does what he mean? Then he said, I analyzed a clue, but I'm not sure if it's correct. But before he could finish his sentence, Yunli said, I understand. It's okay, I'll help you test the clues. Anyway, if it weren't for you, I would have died long ago. Seeing that she was so understanding, he didn't waste any time and immediately told her the clue he had just found. The information that the children were left outside the door was most likely wrong. If we did the opposite, we might be able to avoid the danger. Yunli happily replied after hearing this. Okay, thank you. I'm going now. Having said that, she also left the room while he rubbed his head worriedly. If what Liu Zhangui said is true, then through this method, even if her child survives, will he really be healthy? Still should think about what to do tonight. The director's body is great, but that thing is not human. Thinking of this, he felt a chill down his spine. If a human cannot, at least should not. 2 hours later, mission time has come. I wonder if Yun Li will succeed. While he was leisurely lying down, waiting, suddenly the door opened. The main character was shocked when he saw that, oh my god, the dean is really here, I'm pretending to be dead. But before he could pretend to be dead, the old ghost quickly teleported and opened the door to welcome the dean. The main character couldn't stop him and angrily said, "You old man." The headmistress just walked in and said, "What are you standing there for? Come with me." The main character thought again. Although the time to wait for the evil spirit's summoning ticket has come, the dean is clearly much stronger than this old man. If I can't beat her in one hit, won't I really be done to by her doing it, or being done to, is truly a problem. To keep my integrity, I can only use my intelligence. Thinking then, the main character lifted his shirt to reveal his 8-pack body that had been dissected by someone, then pretended to be weak, and said, "Dean, actually I miss you too. But I am a man without an engine. My V2 engine was taken by a bad guy. Both engine are gone. The bad took away my love. He took away my love. But the dean came forward and pointed, asking, "Is this a zipper?" He immediately replied, "Damn a zipper. Is your zipper that long?" The dean heard and said, "Tisk useless thing. The volunteer in charge of 401 and the old man have disappeared. Go find them and bring them back before you sleep." He shamelessly stuttered, his lips glistening. Then he rubbed his hands and asked, "Do you really want me to go?" "Director, didn't you say not to go out after dark? Since I heard you advise me to eat well, I've been—" "What did you say?" I've liked looking for people since I was little. I'm very professional." The dean said again, "Don't worry, just find them. I won't let you work for free," she said, and waved her hand and left. After the main character said goodbye, he continued to ramble on. "The reward or something is not important. I just want to ease your burden. If I remember correctly, the person in charge of 401 was the girl in pink who sat next to me on the bus. I didn't see her in the lobby that afternoon either. I don't know if the director asked me to find her or help with the body removal." Having said this, he sighed again, finished, and took the opportunity to run to find. In martial arts, speed is the only thing that cannot be beaten. At this point, I can only charge forward. Command of the Soidies, all formation forward. Supreme Lord hasten as a law comet, amen. These footsteps are so loud. Aren't there some strange thing out there? Wait, he said this and stopped running. He felt something was wrong. I wear sneakers so my footsteps won't make that sound. The footsteps from the second floor to here are high heels, and just as he said, behind him was a foot wearing red high heels following his footsteps. Suddenly, a strange head with no eyes or nose leaned close to his ear. A cold voice said, "Finally caught up with you." Hi. He didn't react much, just thought ghost. But I'm a person who doesn't even have internal organs, so I don't seem to have anything to be afraid of. But when the ghost used its long, slimy tongue to lick his face, he couldn't stand it and shivered, turning pale. No, I need it. I have to think of a way to escape. Thinking. Then he tried to sing to gain courage. I'm afraid of ghosts, but ghosts don't love me at all. His footsteps gradually quickened as he sang. He sang again, "I'm not afraid of you, but you've left me full of wounds." The female ghost saw him running and also ran after him. She walked and said, "Wait for me." Its blurry hand was placed on his shoulder again, seeing that he was scared and thought, "Wait, you want to climb on my back with that look?" Then he swallowed again. "No, can't sit still and wait to die. Can only take out my great treasure to scare her away," thinking then he was about to take out the strange ticket. "How dare you, demon, show off in front off and expect great mighty heavenly dragon, Great mighty dragon. Why can't my hand move? God, my hands are numb from her freezing." Suddenly the ghost's head leaned close to his ear and asked, "What did you say just now?" The main character saw it and was immediately scared, laughing and saying, "You must have heard wrong." The ghost said again, "Don't rush. Wait for me, I'm almost done." Done merging. After hearing that, he was scared and ran like the wind. In one stride, he had already climbed 4 steps. While running, he cursed. Wait for you, master. My hands are just numb and I can't use the bus ticket. My legs are not numb. Zhou Shuren once said, if you can't beat them, then spay. If you can't pray, then run. Then in a flash he was out of the stairs, just stopped, and was breathing heavily. The ghost arm on his shoulder also gradually disappeared. The cold air on my shoulder disappeared. I lost her. While I was wondering, the arm on his shoulder suddenly disappeared. He turned back and looked, putting his hand on his chin. So that's it. When I was about to go up to the third bridge, there were only footsteps. When I was about to go up to the fourth bridge, there was a tongue and a hand. It seemed that her body was scattered all over the hallway and was being put back together. My heart is pounding, he said as he put his hand on his left chest, but felt nothing. Then he said, oh, I don't have a heart. Then I quickly went to find room 401, but there was no blood in the hallway upstairs, so the situation seemed much better than on the other floors. A moment later, he was standing in front of room 401. On the paper hanging in front of the door, it says, my father has dementia and likes to play hide-and-seek with people. He always hides behind the door. Once someone plays with him, he never gets bored. Playing hide-and-seek with him is very dangerous, so leave him alone. The main character read it and was confused again. Is playing hide-and-seek dangerous? Combined with the previous clues, the analysis showed the opposite information. Look at the solution of room 401. It must be playing hide-and-seek with the old man. As soon as he opened the door, he greeted me in 3 languages, hello, Sabalenka Timoshenko, and then asked if anyone was there. Said to hide behind the curtain, the result is, this room has no curtain. Where should I look for this? But before he could finish his sentence, he suddenly heard the sound of running getting louder. There's movement. Damn, those 2 lumps of fat are moving up and down. So it's the chest of the girl in pink. But right now she's crying. While running, she shouted, save me, please, save me. As long as you're fine, tell me what happened first. Where did the old man you were in charge of go? The old man I'm in charge of keeps wanting to play hide-and-seek with me, but the sign on the door tells me not to play with him. The main character was stunned after hearing that. Her face was filled with confusion, thinking playing hide-and-seek with the old man was probably right. But why was she so scared? Did I analyze the clues wrongly? Is Yunli okay? A few hours ago. At this time, the girl in white socks was looking for the old man in room 401. Have you finished hiding it yet? Suddenly something caught her attention. So here you are, found you. But after I found him, he asked to play again. But the second time I found him, the one hiding behind the curtains was still there. The main character asked confusedly, what do you mean? The girl in white socks immediately pointed at the curtain and shouted. The third time, after forging the door, it turned into 3 people. Play once with one more person, play once with one more person. Each time you play, one more person will appear. Now behind the curtain cannot stand anymore. The main character saw and exclaimed, oh my God, a row of old people. Then the white-socked girl got close to the main guy and said, can I be your girlfriend? You took the initiative to come find me. You must really like me, right? He was confused. Huh? The white-socked girl said, I'm your girlfriend now. You can't ignore me. But the main guy is handsome. He's not crazy about girls. He immediately pushed her aside and said, don't misunderstand. I came to complete the dean's mission. I'm not a hero saving a beauty. I'll go see what this is all about. Don't take advantage of this opportunity. Oh, fuck. The main character was about to say something when suddenly the girl in white socks became quiet and pushed the main character forward. She was so mean. You are my boyfriend. You have to protect me, even if you die. Oh my God, that push was so cruel. Sorry, stranger, I didn't mean to harm you. I just don't want to die. I don't want to die. I don't want to die. After saying that, she turned her tail and ran away. The main character just sighed and thought, this person, even a pregnant woman still has the courage to try, but she just want me to take the fall, he said, and took out the evil spirit ticket again, just in case. Then he went over and grabbed both sides of the curtain, shouted so Chinsk, and then pulled it open wide. But behind the curtains of the room was not an old man, but a hippopotamus that could stand on 2 legs. It was also wearing a suit. Suddenly, the one in front opened its eyes, revealing a pair of bright red eyes. Immediately after, the other ones also opened their eyes at the same time. They bared their teeth and kept saying in human language, you found me, you found me. Next, I'll go find you. Next I'll go find you. Next I'll go find you. The main character stood there, resisting the cold, and sneered. Oh, how many Soul of the Hall elders did you eat? I don't agree to play with you. But the hippos in suits didn't care, and quickly counted down, 3, 2, 1, found you. Found you. Seeing that he was about to be eaten, he immediately took out the evil spirit ticket and shouted, Damn, you only attack young people, evil spirit armor combined. Then a black gas enveloped his strength. The main character took a defensive stance and shouted, I want to fight 10. Found you, go find your mother? Then the main character immediately pressed the hippo's head down on the floor so hard that the floor broke. The others continued to charge furiously, seeing that the main character continued to raise his hand to punch. He punched 3 hippos several times and sent them flying. Suddenly a hippo punched him from behind, seeing that the other monsters laughed. But that action only got him angry in return. What I hate the most is being dig, he said, and then he immediately ripped off the hippo's arm behind him. Then he pointed at the remaining ones and said coldly, The treads are all broken by you. You really deserve to die. Seeing that the hippos became even more violent and kept charging forward. A moment later outside, the moonlight was bright red and the wind was blowing. Outside the yard, blood was scattered everywhere. Inside room 401 was equally stinking. Blood was splattered everywhere. Hippopotamus carcasses lying around. At this moment, the main character was sweating profusely, breathing heavily like a dog, almost sticking out his tongue. He stood proudly in front of the corpses he had just defeated and immediately crowed a bunch of little punks. As soon as he finished speaking, the evil spirit's power gradually dissipated. He breathed heavily and said, 3 minutes. Although there weren't enough real men, I finally managed to finish you all off before the evil spirit's ticket expired. He was walking when suddenly the hippo corpses absorbed something, and the wounds he had just caused healed. Feeling the aura, he stopped and broke out in a cold sweat. Damn, just as the evil spirit tickets ran out, the monsters that had just been defeated woke up again. They continued to shout, Found you, found you. He panicked and turned around, cursing, Fuck, you are hacking. Not knowing what to do, he changed the subject and said, Look, the moonlight is so beautiful tonight. Let's not fight anymore. Moon! Suddenly he realized something that's right. This old man went berserk and attacked after the eclipse appeared. So that's it, she said that on purpose. If not, the danger hidden under this eerie moonlight will be unexpected. This room has no curtains. If I really listen to the dean and hide in the room after dark, the old people inside will go berserk and attack under the light of the blood moon. This dean doesn't do human work. She simply uses us as food to feed these old men. Thinking up to here, he cosplayed Conan and said, The scheming frog, keep touching your belly. It means there is only one truth. Meanwhile, the hippos had all rushed forward. He calmly jumped up. He jumped over the hippos in one leap. He aimed for the curtain behind. Then grabbed a corner of the curtain, then pulled the curtain to cover the entire window of the room. He glanced back and saw that the hippos had stopped moving. A few seconds after the moonlight disappeared, they also gradually melted, turned into a pile of slime on the floor. His eyes watched ahead. In the mess appeared a gentle old man smiling and said, Let's play hide and seek. Mr. Maine also smiled. It's as I expected. Then he went to touch the head of the old man in room 401 and smiled gently, saying, Good boy. It's very late. Let's go to sleep first. Can we play again tomorrow? Hearing that the old man in room 401 still wanted to play, but he replied, Okay, you can't lie to me. Okay, just wait for me here. Be good, he said, and left immediately. Then go get a blanket. Later, he shaped the white blanket like a friend sitting with him waiting for the evil spirit's return ticket. He sat there with his chin empty and said to himself, I found the old man in room 40, and finally I can give the dean an explanation. The blood moon has not disappeared yet. If I move now, I might encounter other dangers. To ensure safety, I should wait here for the ticket to cool down before go back. Suddenly, down the hallway, there was a woman with a pale, frightened expression trying to reach up the stairs. Ah, so it was the girl in white socks who left the main character and ran away. How the hell did she go down the hallway where only ghosts would be allowed? When she saw the main character, she immediately shouted, save me. I saw you. You bastard. You're my boyfriend. Come save me. The main character was also surprised when he saw her and shouted, it's her. Suddenly, The white-socked girl's head was grabbed by the female ghost's hand. Feeling death, the girl immediately shed tears. She was unwilling and kept saying no, 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 but the next second she was pulled down by the female ghost. Blood also created a long trail. The main character saw that and could only stand and watch. It's not like I just saw death and didn't save. My ticket is waiting for recovery. I can't help. Moreover, running away by yourself is the path you chose. Meanwhile, the white-stockinged girl below was eaten, leaving only her eyes. 3 hours later, the evil spirit ticket had just cooled down when he held it in both hands and ran down quickly. But when he saw the pool of blood of the girl in white socks, he was stunned. The little sister in white socks only has this much left. Then he blinked his hands and chanted, Amitabha Buddha, Amitabha Buddha. Could it be that she was taken away by the big sister in the hallway to be grafted? Hey, I still pray for my own good. After a while, he returned to room 203. As soon as he opened the door, he said, I'm back. The old man saw that and immediately cried out, Abba, Abba. For those who wonder why the old man in room 203, who was being illuminated by the light of the blood moon, didn't violently attack our main character, will explain to them, the elderly in the nursing home will enter a strengthened state when they are illuminated by the blood moon, except for the person who was subdued. After a while, the main character was lying on the old man's bed. The old man was kneeling beside him, writing, Hais, what a long day. Old man, write down what you want to eat tomorrow, to avoid getting beaten up by me when choosing food. Hearing that, the old man obediently called out, Abba, Abba. After that, he raised the paper and wrote, raw meat is fine. After reading, the main character immediately sat up and said, Okay, tomorrow I'll let you try raw intestines. Tell me, why do you like to eat this? The old man continued to write, Aba, Aba. After a while, he raised the paper and said, Actually, I don't like eating raw meat, but my son does. After reading, the main character looked at the pile of raw meat on the table and said, So this is the meat you intentionally left over to feed your son, but it's all rotten. The old man continued writing. After writing, he raised the paper and smiled, writing on the paper, because I don't know what day he will come. After reading, he was silent. He walked thoughtfully. He was waiting for his son, but he didn't know that his son threw him into this strange nursing home, self-destructing. Out of love, he left behind raw flesh, but in each day of waiting, he smelled rotten. Love and hate were crazy. Responsibility surrounded him. How cruel. Is this the desire world? A place surrounded by fear, obsession, responsibility, where the evil things in people are revealed to achieve their desires. People's hearts are so complicated that they don't know which way to go. How disgusting. Continuing the previous video, now all the surviving players have gathered in one place. Observation shows that after last night there are fewer people. Meanwhile, the main character is looking left and right, searching for Yunli. After a while, he found her. The main character immediately smiled happily and sighed, thinking to himself, It's good that she's alive. Yunli saw Wang Ming and immediately thanked him. Thank you. If it weren't for the clue you gave me, I wouldn't have survived until now. He immediately smiled and replied, No need to be polite. I'm just providing a guess. But Yunli asked, If possible, can I tell them this clue? This is the clue she found in practice. If you want to share, then share. No need to ask me. Hearing Wang Ming say that, Yunli lowered her head and glanced down to the right, saying, While they talking, suddenly, there was a sound coming from someone's high heels. It turned out to be the dean. As soon as she entered, she opened her mouth and said loudly, There are still so many people left. Great. This is your task today, she said, and then threw the mission cards up. Everyone saw that and raised their heads to look. Then the headmistress said again, I hope I can see you all again tomorrow. After saying that, she licked her lips meaningfully. She took out a bag of something and said, Wang Ming, come here. The volunteer staff of 401 died last night, but you found that old man? Not bad. Hey, I told you not to work for free. The main character saw this and immediately approached, reaching out with both hands to take the thing from the director's hand. He didn't dare to show arrogance, but only humbly said in a flattering voice, It should be done at my honor to share the worries of the dean. Hehe. But suddenly the headmistress stepped back slightly, then hooked her hand on his collar. Pulling him closer to her, she said, Oh, really? Then I'll come find you again tonight. After saying that, the headmistress left. The main character stood still. Tears kept flowing down his face as he complained, "Why is God so mean to me?" As soon as he saw what was in the paper bag the dean gave him, he wondered, "This is money. Is there money in the world of desire?" After saying that, he swallowed his saliva again. Seeing Wang Ming's question, old Liu immediately said, "That's right. This is the money of the world of desire. Last time when I participated in the challenge, I saw someone else use it. This is prayer money." Wang Ming heard this, but his face did not show any joy. He put the bag of money in his shirt and said, "Prayer money." Such a design from the underworld, the name seemed quiet. Sunny. Seeing this, old Liu was startled, then pushed up his glasses and said, "Don't underestimate this. The players who challenged the previous round killed each other to steal 10 prayer coins. In the end, 3 of them died." Then he asked Wang Ming, "What did you do last night? Why did the dean give you so much money?" The main character didn't bother to hide it and calmly replied, "Oh, the director told me to go to the 4th floor to help her find the missing elderly and volunteer 401. "Is this a hidden mission?" one person asked, but he went to the 4th floor alone at night. "How dare he? Does he have any clues in his hands?" The 2 young men kept screaming, making his head ache. Seeing that, old Liu immediately spoke up, "Everyone be quiet. Brother Wang, last night I gave you some information related to the world of desire. If you feel it's not enough, I can tell you a few more things to use in exchange for the clues in your hand." Wang Ming heard that and smiled, thinking, "This guy really is hiding some inventory. Tell me, if I guess correctly, everyone is from Linhai City, right? Or they all came from Linhai to this Dawn place. The world of desire basically attracts player by region." The crowd heard and started whispering to each other. Suddenly, Miss Yunli remembered the boy whose relative was also a firefighter like her. She immediately turned around and said, "They are all from Linhai City. Young man, did your father get injured while putting out a fire at the shopping mall?" The boy wearing the hat heard the question and immediately replied, "Yes. How did you know?" Yunli immediately replied, "My husband's name is Chin Hong." The boy in the hat heard this name and immediately recognized it. "Captain Chin, isn't he dead? I'm sorry." Wang Ming came forward to comfort them. "Your family are all heroes, they will definitely recover." Then the others clamored to negotiate. They said that if you just give them a clue, they will transfer money to you later. Some people had 30,000, some had 50,000. At this time, after hearing the others accept to exchange money for information, the greedy devil in his heart was revealed. But on the outside, our main character acted cold and did not respond to them. In his heart, he thought, "I originally wanted Yun Li to tell them the clue, but I didn't expect to have this unexpected gain." After a while, he coughed and replied, "Forget it. If you guys sincerely want to know, I will compassionately tell you. Listen carefully. The story is..." After explaining for a while to the others, he went to room 204, according to the assigned task. Today's assignment is to clean the room. After reading the note on the door, he said, "A violent personality. No need to be afraid." As soon as he opened the door, he wondered when he saw no one. Suddenly, something came from behind. "Oh shit, what the hell is this again?" I only saw its mouth full of blood, and behind it was a tail. Its arm extended its claws forward. It grabbed Wang Ming's neck and asked frantically, "Where's my daughter? I want to see my daughter. Where's my daughter?" The main character was sweating from being squeezed, but still tried to say, "Don't get excited yet." He thought, "This old lady has so much strength. If she continues like this, she will break my neck." The demon brought its hideous face close to Wang Ming's again. Its long tongue and eyes were like some kind of reptile. It kept saying it wanted to see its daughter, or it would kill him. Seeing that something was wrong, he immediately took out the evil spirit ticket fuck. Starting off with a big attack as soon as you enter, I could only... Wait, she forgot this and that, even going to the bathroom. What else can she remember? Thinking about it, he immediately pretended to be her child and shouted, "Mom, I'm your precious daughter. I've come to visit you." The old ghost heard and was confused, asking, "You? You are Xiao Fang." He turned on his acting again. "That's right, Mom. I'm this Xiao Fang. Did you forget me? If so, Hoo-hoo." The old lady in room 204 saw that and immediately let go of her hand flusteredly, saying, "How is that possible? How come I don't know you?" Xiao Fang didn't cry. "It's just, but why?" "I remember you were quite big," she said, while looking at his bust, which was lacking something. Seeing the old lady's doubt, he immediately laughed and said, "Ha ha, this. Mom, you don't understand this. It's so popular now. Not only can you wear beautiful clothes, but you can also have peace in the world. Men who like big breasts are all lustful." Then he put his hand on the shoulder of the old lady in room 204, as if they were relatives he hadn't seen for a long time, and said with a laugh, "Mom, let's go into the room first." "That's right. Why were you so fierce just now?" "You hurt me." The old lady in room 204 immediately replied, "Ah, you good girl, it's all Mom's fault. Mom thought you were a nurse in the hospital." After hearing that, Wang Ming broke out in a cold sweat and thought to himself, "Nurses, aren't those who challenged us nurses?" He thought for a moment, and then asked Mom what's wrong with the nurses in the hospital. "I don't think they're bad." The main character just finished speaking when the old lady 204's eyes immediately widened, and she said, "You were tricked by them." He wondered and asked, "I was tricked by them? What do you mean?" The old lady 204 immediately told him everything that the people here had done to her. "The nurses here often beat people and don't let me eat, and more. They also injected some old people. All the people who were injected with this medicine died." After listening, he was silent and thought, all the people who got the injection died, so in the eyes of the elderly here, the danger comes from nurses like us. It seems like we have an important clue. Suddenly, the old lady 204 grabbed him and earnestly begged, "Xiaofang, can you take Mom home? Mom promises not to pee her pants again." "Okay," he replied. "Okay, wait until I'm done with this period of time, then I'll take Mom home. Now I'll help you clean the room first." Hearing that, the mother smiled gently and said, Okay, I know my Xiaofang is the most understanding." The second night after the bloody elderly hospital, the dean came to find him. As soon as she saw him, she held his hands and said, "Hello, Dean, you're here. If you have any instructions, I will definitely work for you. There's a shipment coming in now. Go out and bring it up to the 5th floor for me. Remember, no matter what happens, don't open the box." Okay. After saying that, she left. He looked after her, feeling a bit disappointed, thinking, what did she say that made her come find me tonight? Is that all? Meanwhile, the headmistress's face was very angry, and she was frowning, thinking, what are these nurses up to? Why aren't there any deaths tonight? A moment later, the main character just went out and saw the delivery man carrying goods out of the truck. He took it out silently, then dropped the box on the ground. Seeing that, Wang Ming immediately started a friendly conversation and called out, "You look strange. You don't seem to be a nursing home employee, right? What do you do?" The other person saw him ask that question and immediately turned around and asked, "Can't you see?" Having said that, he immediately opened the door and was about to get in the car. The main character saw that and ran over and said, "Don't misunderstand. I know you're the driver. I just want to ask what's in this box." In his heart, he thought, you want to run away without being asked for information. Not allowed. Absolutely not allowed. Then Wang Ming called out, "Don't be in a hurry. Have a cigarette." Hearing that, the driver immediately closed the car door. After a moment of silence, he walked towards him and beckoned, "Okay, first cigarette." The main character rudely pointed to the red bag on the driver's shirt pocket and said, "Here, don't just stand there, give me one." The driver was immediately angry when he was played. Tears streamed down his face as he stared at the main guy. "You dare to trick me? You're looking for dead." While he was talking, suddenly a bill was thrown at his face. As soon as he saw the driver, he trembled and held the money with both hands, his eyes bulging as if he wanted to take a closer look to see if it was real. As for the main character, he radiated a bright aura of a rich man. He thought to himself, little one, you think you can get away. Then the driver turned 180 degrees, bowed low, rubbed his hands and said, "It's all a misunderstanding. It's all a misunderstanding." Seeing that, Wang Ming turned his face away. Haha, with money you can make ghosts do things. He really didn't lie to me. The driver then took out a cigarette, leaned 45 degrees, and called out to the main character, "Please smoke." Wang Ming laughed and replied, "I don't smoke, I just have something to ask you." "You want to ask what's in the box, right?" "Yeah, how do you know?" "You said it yourself just now." "Sigh, I really forget. Actually, there's nothing, just some medicine. Probably some sedative or something." Hearing that, Wang Ming asked, "What's the sedative used for?" The driver lit a cigarette and said, "Don't you know? Aren't there old people in this hospital who don't listen? One shot and they'll be good again. Wang Ming rested his chin on his hand and thought, this is the Kim that old lady 204 was talking about. The type that has killed people after being injected. The director has been calling people to bring her these days. Does she want us to kill people now? The driver next to him asked again. That's right, you look strange. Are you new here? Aren't you afraid of encountering that thing when you go out to carry goods tonight? The main character asked curiously. What is that thing? The driver exhaled another puff of cigarette. He bowed his head and said, damn, I talk too much. This is a secret I still don't. Before he could finish his sentence, Wang Ming took out 2 bills at once, making him shut up. His eyes then lit up. Wang Ming gave off the air of a rich man and said, I didn't hear clearly. What did you just say? The driver saw a lot of money and immediately threw away his shame and reached out with both hands. His body was trembling with joy, his eyes were sparkling, he coughed and said, cough, cough. Just now, I said, although it's confidential, but you are my brother, I will definitely tell you what I know. The story is like this. I heard that a long time ago there was a very filial girl. In order to earn money and take care of her seriously ill mother, she chose to give up a bright future and become a nurse at this nursing home. Everything was going well, but one day, her mother suddenly disappeared. When they found her, her body was already broken into pieces and thrown into a trash can in the hallway of every floor. How terrifying. Then the girl went crazy and jumped straight from the rooftop. It turned out that the female ghost in the hallway was the girl's mother. What happened next was the culprit found. I'm just a delivery guy. I really don't know. After speaking, they both shook each other's ears. The driver called out, you guys hurry to another place to deliver the goods. Look. Before he could finish speaking, the main character smiled friendly and praised. Okay, good boy. You go ahead. But before leaving, the driver gave Wang Ming a candle and a lighter. You take this first, remember to light it when you go up the stairs. The main character saw this and exclaimed, his heart felt warm. There are still many good ghosts in this world. A moment later, Wang Ming had arrived at the front of the stairs on the ground floor. Wang Ming put down the box and stood with his back against it, thinking, just now I ran down from the second floor and luckily didn't encounter anything. Now that the blood moon has not ended yet, I have to go from the first floor to the 5th floor. I might meet the shredded lady in the hallway. To be safe, I should light the candle my good brother gave me first. As he spoke, he lit the candle. The candle also quickly lit up with blue flames. The candle wax dripped down and stuck to the crate. Then Wang Ming carried the box and ran straight upstairs without daring to look back. While running, he shouted, I run, run, run. The ghost behind knew to shout, wait for me, but he had already gone upstairs. Wang Ming immediately curled his lips and said, humph, as expected, I don't dare to go near candles. Lady Shiredad also has this day. I've waited for this moment for a long time. Then he hallucinated and held the candle up high and shouted, Great dragon mighty power retreat. The light from the candle made the female ghost stomp her feet in anger, but because of the light from the candle, she quickly ran away. Seeing that, he laughed and said Saparashi. Just after walking a few steps, he heard a sound coming from the bloody trash can. I'm almost done. Almost. He saw that and went closer. There's still a piece here. It seems like my good brother didn't lie to me. Then he went to the trash can. As soon as he opened the lid of the box, he looked very surprised and exclaimed, It's her. The 4th floor of the nursing home corridor. It turned out that what he saw was a human face with hair still on it. Wang Ming looked at it for a while and realized it belonged to the girl in white socks. No wonder I didn't see her last night. It turns out she was divided and put in the trash can, he said, and then closed the trash can lid. He carried the box and breathed haze. When desire entangled death becomes a release. A moment later, he was standing in front of the door of room 501. On the 5th floor of the nursing home, there was only one room 501. After Wang Ming looked at door 501, he suddenly exclaimed, There is no information on this door for the children. The director also did not arrange for anyone to take care of the elderly in room 501. Is there some secret of the dean hidden inside? Suddenly, he had the thought of turning the doorknob to see if there was anything lucky hidden inside, then bang! The dean with a bloody mouth appeared beside him and asked, What are you doing? Startled, Wang Ming could only quickly retreat. He held back his scream and only said, in a hurry, It's nothing. I've brought the things you needed. Where should I put them? The headmistress immediately said, "You go and leave it in the main hall over there." He immediately responded and ran away. At this time in the lobby of the 5th floor, "Put your things down, this is your reward for tonight." Hearing the dean say that, he immediately smiled and replied, "I'm so embarrassed." But as soon as he turned around, he saw the appearance of the headmistress change and become very scary. Her pale green skin was like a corpse. On one side of her head, her left brain was sticking out, but he wasn't sure if it was the right brain. As soon as he saw the terrifying appearance of the dean, he was immediately scared out of his wits. He reached out to take the blood-stained envelope, his body trembling in fear as he stammered, "Dean, Dean, Dean, you." The headmistress was now in a frenzy when the blood moon's light shone on her. She gave a strange smile and said, "Ha ha, I forgot to tell you. If you reach the 5th floor, don't expect to come back alive." He also immediately took out the evil spirit bus ticket. "You jerk, using me and tossing me aside, that's just picking on someone who plays fair." Before he could finish his sentence, the headmistress rushed over with her fists clenched and shouted, "Die!" Suddenly, he punched the pillar behind him. Luckily, he dodged his head in time, or else it would have been over. Wang Ming cried out, "Oh my God, how dangerous. This woman is so strong it's scary. She has 20 years of experience. Only relying on the power of evil spirits, is afraid to fight back. While Wang Ming was thinking, the dean continued to scream and rush over. Luckily, he had already started the car and shouted, "Die for me." The headmistress heard that and laughed contemptuously. "Ha ha, just relying on that. Where is he?" So Wang Ming suddenly jumped down right when her claws were near him. He immediately stood up and ran away. His face was pale and sweaty as he said, "I'm not stupid to fight you. There is only one solution, pull the curtains to end the demonization." Why is it so empty? Oh my God, where are the curtains? While he was still confused, the dean appeared behind him. She said, "I know you tried your best, but what use is it? Now you must be very disappointed, very tired, very suppressed, very difficult. Now let me end this miserable and pitiful life of yours." Suddenly, he turned around, pointed behind him, and shouted, "What are you guys still standing there for? Hurry up and kill her." The director also reflexively turned around and shouted, "Who?" She didn't see anyone, but he punched her in the face, haha. While she was still stuck to the wall, he immediately ran away. Holding the evil spirit ticket in his hand, he kept saying, "What should I do? What should I do? There's less than a minute left on the evil spirit ticket. Am I going to die here?" Suddenly, a strange female principal came crawling on all fours and shouted, "You can't run!" He glanced up and immediately turned pale, thinking, "There's still one in the hallway. If I get surrounded, I'll die." Dean was still crawling as if running toward. As soon as Wang Ming saw room 501, he said, "I have a way. I want to see what secrets you hide in room 501. At this time, the headmistress was in a hurry, and as soon as she saw him enter room 501, she shouted, "No, you can't go in." Wang Ming turned around, raised his middle finger very rudely, and said, "Bye-bye." Then she closed the door in anger of the dean. She could only glare and shout, "No, no, no." In the round room, the evil spirit's ability also said goodbye to Wang Ming after the time was up. He was panting when suddenly behind him there was the sound of someone shouting, "I've had enough. I've really had enough." Wang Ming turned around and looked dumbfounded. He wondered if this was the director or the nurse. At this moment in front of him was the image of the director sitting down with a desperate expression, her hands clutching her head as if she didn't want to hear anything. The beeping sound of the machine kept coming. The dean was now sitting crying by her mother's hospital bed. Her tears kept flowing out of resentment and helplessness. She could only say sorry because at this moment she really couldn't bear it anymore. When she borrowed money from others to treat her mother who was lying in bed, no matter how she begged others, she was still rejected. They just pushed her away and chased her away. The director was really forced to the end of her rope. Ku stood in front of his mother's hospital bed, scratching his head and saying in tears, "I begged so many people. I borrowed the money I could. I even borrowed the money from the loan sharks. Mom, your illness is incurable. Mom is now a bottomless pit." Then the dean trembled and took the pillow beside her. She held the pillow with both hands and raised it up, crying and saying, "Mom, you will forgive me, right?" Then she used the pillow to end her mother's life, freeing her from the terrible disease as well as freeing herself. The beeping of the machines has also stopped, and all of this is projected onto a projector. It turns out that the director is the girl the driver was talking about, and the murderer who killed her mother was herself. So the female ghost in the hallway is the dean's mother. Did she throw her mother's body in the hallway? How could she do that? Wang Ming thought for a long time, but couldn't understand. Perhaps in the world of desire, excitement and unexpectedness are common things. The second night at the bloody nursing home has ended. The next day on the first floor of the nursing home, old Liu was speaking. Everyone relax. Based on my experience from last time, this challenge should be over soon. The others heard that and felt happy in their hearts. Miss Yunli smiled and exclaimed, "Really, really?" Old Liu said again, "The dean once said that our mission is for one person to be in charge of 3 rooms. According to the progress of today's mission, after we take care of the elderly in the last room, the challenge will be completed." One person wondered, "Brother Liu, after the challenge is completed, can the gods really fulfill our desires?" Another person exclaimed, "Oh my God, can we really leave here?" Old Liu replied, "That's right. As long as we can complete the challenge, we can fulfill a desire. But you must remember what I said before. If you listen to the gods, you will have to pay the price." "Great. We can go home now, Dad. Just be patient and I'll be there soon." While everyone was happily blooming, our main character was silently wondering, after tonight, can the mission end? Is it really that simple? At this moment, we saw the black shoes of the dean approaching. In her hand was the crate of goods from yesterday. After the blood moon receded, the dean had already returned. While Wang Ming was speaking, the dean opened the box and said to everyone, "No one died last night." "Good. Very good. Today, I'm here to give you the final task. Everything in the nursing home is for the real customers, which are the children of these old people. The children will come to visit them tomorrow morning. Your task is to give these old people sedatives before the children come so that they will be quiet and obedient," she said, and threw a pile of papers with room numbers to everyone. "These are the room numbers you are responsible for. Remember, tomorrow after their children come to visit, your mission will be complete. Remind you that if you do not complete the task and make their children dissatisfied, it will be an unforgivable crime." After scaring people, the director left. While the others were trying to get the injection, old Liu pulled Wang Ming's hand and said, "This is bad." The main character asked confused why. Old Liu replied with a question. "The challenge I attended last time had nearly 50 challengers at first. Guess how many people were left in the end?" he asked, and then he was silent for a while. Then he held up 3 fingers and said, 3 people. Only 3 people. Wang Ming heard and turned pale again, asking again, "Do you mean that there are still too many people alive?" Old Liu put his hand on his forehead and replied with a fearful expression, "That's right. In the world of desire, the lucky ones who survive are few. It's normal for everyone to die. Now that there are so many people left, it's too disappointing. Tomorrow is the day the challenge ends, and it could also be the day our lives end." Wang Ming said again, "I have a clue. The director told me to carry this box in last night. I suspect there might be a problem with this batch of medicine." He then looked back at everyone who was worried about something. The more old Liu thought about it, the more he felt that something was wrong with Wang Ming and the dean. He frowned and asked, "Why is the dean really looking at you?" The main character heard that and helplessly scratched his head, his mouth curled in misery. "Ha ha. Trust me, you absolutely don't want to do this kind of mission. Seriously, last night, the old lady I took care of told me that this injection would take their lives." Old Liu heard that and rested his chin on his hand, saying, "So that's it. I wondered how this mission could be so simple. So there's a loophole here. If the old people die, their children will definitely not let us off. This needle cannot be injected." Wang Ming said again, "My clues have not been verified yet, so I cannot guarantee 100% accuracy. Moreover, listening to the dean's tone right now, if we don't inject the elderly, perhaps the dean will also take action against us. You are an old player and have more persuasive power. Later you can tell them this clue. Believe it or not, they can decide for themselves." Old Liu immediately replied, "Thank you, brother." Then old Liu also went to tell this information to everyone. Wang Ming was still standing there, in the numbers falling before him. He chose room 205 again. "I hope everyone can get through tonight smoothly." Later in room 205 in front of the door it says, "But wait. If you have time, press pause and read it yourself, hehe." Wang Ming just entered and saw an old man sitting on the bed very carefully and asked, "Are you mentally ill?" The old man 205 saw him and got very excited. Take it off. Take these damn things off. I'm not sick. I'm a normal person. Damn it, you're just like him. You all deserve to die. After saying that, his face immediately turned into a radioactive tongue-tied face. Then he used his tongue to attack Wang Ming, but he easily dodged it. Suddenly, the old man 205 shouted, "Let me go!" Wang Ming went up to the old man and grabbed his rope and pulled it hard, causing all the strings to break, freeing the old man 205. He was surprised and exclaimed, "Huh." The main character said, "What's the rush? Didn't I open it for you already?" But the old man appeared to be in pain and groaned. The main character saw this and wondered, is my judgment wrong? Can't I really let this guy out? At this moment, the old man 205's eyes were filled with blood vessels as he cried out, You! What are you talking about? I advise you not to do stupid things," he said while taking out the evil spirit's ticket. But the damn thing he was screaming about was because Wang Ming stepped on his tongue. He angrily blew smoke and pointed down, saying, You stepped on my tongue." Hearing that, he said, "Huh." Then he looked down again. "Ahaha, misunderstanding. It's all a misunderstanding," Wang Ming said, as he stuffed the old man's tongue into his mouth. But because it was too much at once, the old man cried out, "Cough, cough. You slow down a bit." 3 minutes later, the old man 205 said again, "I'm fine, I'm not sick." The main character indifferently replied, "Ah, yes. The old man saw that attitude and narrowed his eyes and said, "Humph. You say that, but in fact in your heart you still feel that I'm sick." As for Wang Ming, upon hearing the old man mention his heart, he angrily lifted his shirt, pointed at his heart, and said, "Slander. You're slandering me. I don't even have a heart, okay?" The old man heard that and argued, "How can a person not have a heart? Are you crazy? If you don't believe me, look for yourself," he said, and then pulled up his shirt for the old man to see. He looked for a while, then pointed and said, "Hey, this zipper of yours is quite special." Hearing that, Wang Ming immediately blew smoke and shouted, "This is sewing thread, sewing thread." The old man was silent again, placing his hand on his chin, observing intently for a while, then sighed and said, "Young people nowadays are really not easy. Now, he doesn't have any ill intentions towards me. Why don't we see if I can get more information?" The old man was silent again, placing his hand on his chin, observing intently for a while, then sighed and said, "Young people nowadays are really not easy. Now, he doesn't have any ill intentions towards me. Why don't we see if we can get more information?" Thinking, the merchant acted like a shy young girl and said, "If you've seen my sewing thread, then we're friends." Seeing this action, the old man was helplessly sweating, and his lips twitched, not knowing what to say. Then he said, "My dear friend, I've always wanted to ask. You just said that he and I both deserve to die. Who is this guy?" As soon as he heard him mention that story again, the old man's eyes changed. The old man was agitated, holding his trembling hands, and said, Damn it, I want to kill him, I must kill him." Wang Ming heard that and understood. "The guy you're talking about is your son, right?" But at this moment, the old man 2005 seemed to have gone crazy. He screamed, "Kill him, I want to kill him." He used his tongue to attack Wang Ming again. I thought he would use the evil spirit ticket, but now he quickly said loudly, "Your son is dead." Then the old man heard this information, and suddenly his whole body stopped. In his mind, he thought to himself, sure enough, his son is the way to ruin the situation. Besides, didn't you want to kill him? No need now. He's already dead. The old man, 205, asked curiously, He died. How did he die?" Wang Ming replied, "He's dead. What do these things mean?" The old man heard that and also laughed, lowered his head, and said, "That's right. It doesn't make sense anymore." His face also slowly returned to normal. The main character saw that and thought to himself, "This direction is effective." Then he put his hand on the old man's shoulder and asked, "A tiger doesn't eat its own cubs. Why do you want your son to die so badly? If I remember correctly, you only have one son, right?" The old man was silent for a moment. Then he told Wang Ming that year his mother was seriously ill. The doctor said she could be saved and told us to prepare $800,000. I originally wanted to sell my house to save her first. The result is that the disobedient child does not want to sell. That house was bought for him with the money his mother and I saved up. In the end, a house was more important than his mother. Unfilial. Unfilial. Finally. Speaking up to here, he raised his hands high and happily said loudly, "Finally, this unfilial son is dead. I'm happy. I'm really happy." Wang Ming beside him scratched his hand, feeling guilty, thinking, "Is my lie too much?" But suddenly the old man's laughter gradually became smaller and no longer showed any joy. But suddenly the old man's laughter gradually became smaller, and he no longer showed any joy. He asked the main character, "Tomorrow is visiting day, right?" Hearing this, Wang Ming immediately replied, "Yes," and asked, "Why are you suddenly talking about this?" The old man 205 received the answer and immediately put one hand on his shoulder. The other hand raised the like button and said, "Kid, you are a good person. I'll say goodbye to you. We're almost saying goodbye." Wang Ming wondered and asked, "Why did you say that?" The old man of 205 replied with a serious face, "Every time a relative comes to visit the hospital, the nurses here will change to a different group. There will also be fewer old people here. This place used to be very crowded, not like now." Having said this, the old man sighed again. After listening, Wang Ming was silent for a moment before saying, "Is that so?" The atmosphere in the room suddenly became silent. After a few hours passed, the third night of the bloody elderly hospital officially ended. It was also the last night of this challenge. The next day in the nursing home lobby, there were some challengers inviting visitors in. The son called out, "Mom, I'm here to visit you. Dad, do you miss me?" "Nurse, which room is my mom in?" Everyone's faces showed joy and happiness as they were about to meet their loved ones again. Suddenly a loud scream was heard. Everyone looked towards the sound. On this side, there was a person panicking and covering his mouth, asking, "Why is my mother dead?" The person in charge of that room was also panicking and stammering, "I don't know, I was fine last night." The daughter said, "My father is also dead." "Is this how your nursing home takes care of people?" Then her scream echoed throughout the hospital, "Black nursing home. Who is in charge of taking care of my father? I want him to pay with his life. You nurses all deserve to die," said the visitors, then looked at the group of nurses, some healthy, some covered in injuries, but with red eyes as if wanting to eat them alive. Then all of them turned into monsters and rushed to tear apart the nurses who were the challengers. But below, a one-sided massacre was falling on the challengers. As blood splattered everywhere, the dean above showed an amused expression and said, "You can't bring everything you have when you live, and you can't take it with you when you die. Everything will eventually turn to dust, haha." And the bloody massacre began from this moment, at the first floor lobby of the nursing home. At this time, the visitors to the elderly all turned into monsters to hunt down the challengers posing as hospital nurses. The scene here was filled with screams and cries for help. Fear enveloped all the challengers. Going to the second-floor hallway of the nursing home, Miss Yun Li was now very scared and could only hug her pregnant belly. Don't come here. And below there is a monster jumping up. I thought it was about to eat double skin. Then suddenly it got punched in the face. Wang Ming had now activated his evil spirit ticket and worriedly asked, "How are you?" "I'm fine." "What happened? Why did so many monsters suddenly appear?" But Wang Ming didn't have time to explain now, so he grabbed her hand and ran away. He quickly ran away from the monsters behind him and said, "Run out first. It seems this is a slaughter that does not discriminate. No injection will kill, injection will kill. Damn, one of these two options should be correct. No, leave me alone, you run away." Hearing Yun Li say that, Wang Ming immediately frowned and shouted, "My abilities are limited, I can't take care of others, but at least I can take care of you." Hearing that, Yun Li was moved to tears and didn't dare say anything more. Suddenly 2 monsters reached out their claws, he said while struggling. "Not all right. Want to die," he said, and then threw a powerful punch, sending the demon flying away. After punching him, he felt surprised and said, "The evil spirit's power has become stronger." "No, that's not right. The evil spirit is devouring me. But if I release the evil spirit's power now, these monsters in front of me will absolutely take my life in an instant. So it's been here all along waiting for this opportunity. Okay, then let's see if I control you or you swallow me. What a reckless guy with no internal organs." While running, they suddenly saw a monster with a bunch of tentacles wagging. Looking closely inside, he saw that old Liu was being pulled by it, but he still reached forward and said loudly, "Wang Ming, injection." The injection was not bought by the director. That is, hearing this, he thought to himself, the injection was not bought by the director. So, before he could finish thinking, old Liu said, "It's him." No, it's them. They bought the injection. These children all want their old parents to die soon. Yunli beside him said, "Sorry, it's all my fault for being the one to blame you." The main character replied, "No, this is not your fault. From the beginning, those who challenged us were destined to not be able to leave here." Then he bowed his head slightly and said, "But I think of a possibility. A very worthy possibility. We have a chance to get out of here." "Follow me," Wang Ming said, and continued to pull Yun Li to escape from the monster's pursuit. Countdown to the evil spirit's ticket extension time 3. Duh. And 1. Bang. He kicked the door open and rushed into the familiar room 203, just in time to see the evil spirit ticket disappear. He thought to himself, "Here I can dispel the evil spirit ticket." Then turned back and said loudly, "Who is the child in room 203? You see these things yourself. Because you like to eat raw meat, he always leaves a portion for you. But you don't even have the courage to visit him, leaving him with this food. The one who doesn't take good care of him is not me, but you. The one who wants him to die is not me, but you. The person he raised with his own hands." Hearing Wang Ming's words, a monster immediately returned to normal. "Even if what you say is true, what can it prove? He said he would leave it for me to eat. But where is the food? It's either rotten or expired. He even hid the food in his pocket. Is it disgusting? I ask you, is it disgusting?" Hearing him say that, Wang Ming's lips twitched. His eyebrows drew a little closer together. He laughed angrily and said, "Ha ha, disgusting, you say disgusting again. Look for yourself. This is the disgusting thing you're talking about." Then he threw the old man's son 203 a piece of paper that his father had written for him before. He also took the paper and his eyes rolled back and forth reading the content inside. Then he fell down in a daze. Suddenly remembered when he was little, he said he liked to eat raw meat. Later his father often saved things for him, but they all went bad, leaving only flies and ants. Seeing that, he immediately showed his displeasure and criticized him, then threatened to take him to a nursing home. But his father was mute, so he could only say "Abba, Abba." But the truth that the father wrote down was that he really didn't know how long the food's expiration date was. But he knew it was neither rotten nor dirty at first. Just for the time being, he never came. When he finished writing this letter, his face suddenly closed, a loneliness that few people could understand. Sitting in the hospital every day, waiting every day for his son to come visit. And now, when the two faced each other, the son now understood everything and said with tears in his eyes, "Dad, I'm sorry. I came to pick you up." Then the old man 203 also smiled gently and called out, "Abba, Abba." Then the two held hands. Their bodies gradually turned into light and disappeared as if they were transcending. The main character and Yunli looked up and wondered what's going on? Why are they? It's because we've neglected one thing. This mission is called Twilight Cry. Twilight refers to these old people. Sunset shouldn't cry at this moment. The monsters all stopped attacking, seemingly waiting for some kind of salvation. Then he took Xiaofang to see her mother. Standing behind him, he said, "You say she forgets this and that. Even when she goes to the toilet, she needs someone to take care of her. The funny thing is, she remembers her name. She just remembers the girl who wanted to leave her." At this time, Ms. Xiaofuang also cried and apologized to her mother. Then both of them disappeared like father and daughter in room 203. Then the main character leads the others to continue. Just as he was about to open the door to room 205, the son of this room grabbed his hand and shouted, "I know you want to play the emotional card, but my father always wanted to kill me because I gave up the chance to save my mother for money. He would never forgive me even if he died." Wang Ming immediately replied, "You're wrong. What you want is not his forgiveness, but your own." He heard that and frowned, saying, "Me forgive yourself. Ha ha, how ridiculous. I won't enter this room, but I will wait here. Wait for you to come inside, and I will wring my own neck." Wang Ming immediately replied, "Okay then, you wait outside the door." Then Wang Ming opened the door and stepped inside. As soon as he saw the old man 205, he asked, You want to go now?" He replied, I'm about to leave." But before that, there's something I want to tell you. I lied to you before. Your son isn't dead. The old man 205 bowed his head and said, You're lying to me about this. But I don't know why I don't want to kill you at all. Then he approached and put his arm around the old man's shoulder and said, But even though it's not dead, it won't last much longer. What do you mean? He is sick and needs to be replaced. But the hospital could not provide. As soon as he heard the man say his son needed a heart, the old man pointed at himself and said loudly, How about my heart? Wang Ming immediately turned around and asked him, Didn't you want to kill him? He abandoned his mother for a house and killed your wife. The old man laughed bitterly and replied, Haha. Actually, at first, her mother insisted on giving up treatment. She didn't want her children to be affected by her illness. I hid it from her and forced her son to sell the house. I just didn't expect her to refuse so firmly. Leave. The director won't let me leave here. I'll ask you to transfer my heart out. As soon as he said this, someone opened the door and rushed in. Wang Ming and the old man turned around in surprise. It turned out to be the old man's son. As soon as he entered, he knelt down on both knees. He bowed down to the ground and cried, I'm sorry, Dad, I was wrong, it was my fault. The old man saw his son and immediately approached him. Son, are you okay? It's okay, he said, and then put his hand on his son's head. Both of them had ended all the hidden things and immediately disappeared. Went back to the first-floor lobby. Next, Yunli also used the same method as the main character to deal with the 3 rooms she was in charge of. It was just that this important information came too late. By the time they returned to the first-floor lobby, the other challengers were already lying in a pool of blood. The 2 of them were walking down the hallway together. Seeing that there was no more shadow, he said, Looks like we passed the challenge. Yunli also said, I guess so. Then he happily asked, That's right, Miss Yunli. Do you know what the ultimate challenge is? What is it? It's a cannon. Leave your contact information. After we go out, how about inviting you to dinner? You said dinner, I'm really a bit hungry. Haha, okay. Then we'll meet at... They were talking when suddenly the dean appeared in front of them. She stood there emitting a murderous aura and growling continuously. None of you can survive, she said, and rushed towards them. Yunli saw that and was scared, covering his mouth and saying, What should I do? The main character was taking something out of his shirt and thinking to himself, Damn it, the evil spirit's ticket is in its recovery period now. At this moment, the director came closer and reached out to scratch her. She screamed, Die! But at this moment, the main character took out a box of medicine. He threw a bullet at the dean's face. Then the medicine box fell down and rolled away. Then Wang Ming said, This is what I found under the bed in room 501. Don't you want to know what medicine this is? What? This is a sedative. Hearing this is a sedative, the dean immediately held her head and shouted, Impossible, I understand her. Wang Ming said again, You thought you killed your mother. But before you killed her, she drank a whole bottle of sedatives. The dean got agitated and kicked the bottle, shouting that she couldn't have done that. Seeing that, Wang Ming immediately pulled Yunli's hand and said urgently, Let's go now. Having said that, both of them immediately ran away, or else the dean would chase and kill them. Later, both of them escaped from this haunted nursing home. Yunli suddenly heard some sound. Turning back to look, we saw the nursing home scene as if it was pouring down. The opening voice of the story that appeared in the Game of Desire spoke again. The tree wants the forest, but the wind is not still. The child wants to support parents, but the circumstances do not allow it. Don't let the sunset cry like the sun has never been sad. The blood color. Elderly Hospital's challenge ends. Wang Ming was also happy to hear that, but first he had to take a breath. It was a success. We succeeded. Luckily, I was prepared early. I said the end of the challenge is a cannonball. While Wang Ming was speaking, suddenly a white arm with purple patterns came from behind him. Then saw a girl with hair covering her eyes, put her arm around his shoulder and created a piece of paper. I don't know if she is a god or not, but she looks pretty. Then she let out a voice, listening to the gods whisper, Your desire will be answered. Wang Ming looked at the plate in front of him and thought this was his reward for passing the level fulfill a desire or wish. Then I won't be polite anymore. Thinking that, Wang Ming happily picked up his pen and wrote. After a while, he raised his wish board, and Wang Ming's wish was very simple. I want to recover all my internal organs. But the words he wrote suddenly disappeared. Another voice said, "Wish is invalid." He was stunned with disbelief. Wang Ming was so angry that he couldn't help but break the pen. "What do you mean you're so stingy? One organ, one wish. So no matter which organ I take, won't I die after I get back?" "I don't believe it," Wang Ming said, and then continuously wrote down his wishes, but all were in vain. "Can't even make such a simple wish come true, are you kidding me?" "Let it go. I thought it over carefully. My wish is that I want to live. God, can you agree this time?" And the words "I want to live" on the paper began to glow and never disappeared again. Below them appeared the words, "The sequence of divine enlightenment, the logical transmission." After reading it, Wang Ming was puzzled as to what this divine logic chain sequence was. But before he could figure out what it meant, the board in his hand started to glow again. The light emitted was so strong that it was blinding, until Wang Ming opened his eyes again. This is the operating room. I'm really alive again. I'm alive." Meanwhile, the pressure of lust on the machine gradually disappeared. Wang Ming then pulled open his shirt to check. When he saw the pile of sewing threads still there, he said sadly, "But without internal organs, am I still human? Being resurrected is like not being fully resurrected. But this time I passed the level. But what is divine sequence? Why did the dean kill her mother and throw her in the hallway? Can't we think about things in the world of desire with the thinking of ordinary people? Forget it. The urgent thing now is to go to the hospital and get a checkup." Wang Ming said this and put on his shirt. "Then go to the door and push it open." But while Wang Ming was leaving, a red-haired woman was watching from above a house behind. But she licked her lips with her long tongue and laughed, "Ha ha!" Continue to listen to the whispers in the new world. Wait, isn't this girl the one who ate all of Wang Ming's organs? Maybe she's also on the side of the god of lust. But once again, I find her body fucking amazing. Speaking of the Bloody Elders Hospital in the world of desire, the headmistress had already returned to her normal appearance. Her knees unconsciously knelt down when she saw the person in front of her. In her eyes appeared her mother. Tears of joy also began to fall. She called out, "Mom. Mom, I was wrong. I couldn't control myself. Then I was stupid." Her mother didn't say much either, just put her hands on her chest and smiled gently, saying, "I never blamed you. It's me who implicated you. If it weren't for me, you wouldn't have." As she spoke, she reached out her arms to hug the dean. She was also reaching out her arms thinking there would be another touching scene, but the author said there wouldn't be. The dean's eyes suddenly widened when she saw her mother's blood splattered. Her two hands were quickly cut off by something. Seeing that scene, the dean could only scream loudly for her mother. The knife that had just parted with the dean and his mother was now flying back towards its owner like something. And the person just reached out to grab it and the knife stopped flying. Oh, let's see what this person's face looks like. Oh my God, he's a butcher. His head is several meters longer than normal. Then he looked at the dean with contempt and said, "Useless thing." The dean, upon seeing this guy, was so scared that she fell back. You bastard. I've helped you kill so many people. Why don't you spare me? Spare my mother." After hearing this, the butcher's eyes lit up again. "Spare you, ridiculous. Your first desire is to be liberated in love. Your second desire is to revive your mother. Didn't the gods help you fulfill it? Although it was said piece by piece, haha. You didn't say clearly how mother was revived." As he spoke, he grabbed the head of the dean's mother and gently lifted her up. Then he used the knife he carried on his shoulder to split her body in two. The dean saw her mother cut in half and screamed in despair, reaching out. But before 3 seconds had passed, the butcher used his stinking hand to cover her mouth. Then he lifted her up high and said, "If next time someone can survive out of here, you two, mother and son, don't need to exist anymore." Talking about the real world at Linhai City People's Hospital. While Wang Ming was standing in line, he heard other people's relatives say, "Where did Changwei go? I can't get through to the phone. Is there anything wrong?" Wang Ming saw that and turned around curiously to listen. It said it would think of a cure for old Lu itself. The long-haired girl next to it said that this stupid kid old Lu was already a vegetable. The hospital said that he could not be saved. The person next to her said that we would wait until he came back to advise him. Although the construction site paid $1 million in compensation, it could not be thrown away in the hospital. Wang Ming sighed sadly and thought, surely these are Lu Changgui's family members. They don't even know that Lu Changgui can't come back. While thinking, the doctor opened the door and shouted, "The next person is Wang Ming." Wang Ming heard that and immediately raised his hand and replied, I'm coming." later inside the set room of People's Hospital. The old doctor just finished looking at Wang Ming's CET results and immediately broke out in a sweat, embarrassed, saying, "That's too bad, my friend, this machine seems to be broken. Why don't you come back tomorrow?" Wang Ming asked again. Why did the machine suddenly break down? The old doctor replied, "I don't know either. It just couldn't take a picture of your internal organs. I mean, there must be something wrong with the machine. How could a living person like you not have internal organs? Ha ha ha." Wang Ming also helplessly replied, "You're right. Your machines must be broken. And just like last time, the good news is that he's still alive. The bad news is that his internal organs are really gone." Later on the street in Linhai City, Wang Ming stood looking at the sky for a while and then thought again. Although there are no internal organs, eating, drinking, going to the toilet, everything that requires internal organs to function can be done normally. I just don't know if that side has any function, Wang Ming said while looking at an advertisement with a picture of a hot girl. Finished slapping himself in the face and said, "What are you thinking?" Wang Ming, you are a noble person, a person who stays away from low-class hobbies. What unhealthy love between men and women. Try it yourself and you'll know, Wang Ming said and left. But at this moment, someone was following him, a girl wearing a mask and sunglasses covering her face. Bring black heels, but her face was full of sores. Isn't this the evil bus conductor? Now she's looking for Wang Ming and looking at him with such hateful eyes. I can only hear her hissing the name, Wang Ming. Wang Ming, after going for a CT scan, only to receive the sad news that he really had no internal organs left, was now walking on the streets of Linhai City. Wang Ming searched the internet as he walked to see if there was any information about the missing person in Linhai City, but there was absolutely nothing. It's hard to understand. Liu Changgui said that the participants in the Old People's Institute all live in Linhai City, but the death rate in the world of desire is so high, yet there is no information about missing people. Suddenly, Wang Ming's phone displayed a call from Boss Lady of Doom. Wang Ming didn't think much and picked up the phone, but before he could count the next second, a deafening scream rang out. "Wang Ming, what time is it? Why haven't you gone to the internet cafe to work yet? This time you helped an old lady cross the street, but the second time you got hit by a car. Do you still want this month's salary?" Wang Ming smiled foolishly and replied, "Ha ha, boss, don't be angry with me. Isn't it just a small surgery?" Wang Ming said, then turned off the phone and sighed. Almost forgot this work. In the alley of Linhai City, there are two guys. One is fat, but short, and the other is skinny, but tall, bullying a girl. Isn't that right? Zhu Yao, you yourself are a stray girl. No one wants you. You still want to protect a stray cat. Do you think you two have the same problem? Ha ha. Little girl Zhu Yao was now holding a bloody cat. Her eyes filled with tears as she said, "How could you use cigarette butts to burn Xiaobai?" Fat and Skinny laughed evilly and said, "I say it for the last time. Give me the cat, or let me touch you." Little girl Zhu Yao heard that and became even more scared, but still did not give them the cat in her hand. She closed her eyes and stammered, No, I can give you money." Fat and Skinny heard the girl say she wanted to use money to escape. They turned to look at each other and said, "Money." Then two ugly faces turned to the despicable girl Zhu Yao and said, "But today we don't want money. How about we help you out instead?" At this critical moment, suddenly a chivalrous young man appeared and shouted, "Stop." Then he rushed over with empty hands. Fat and Skinny also turned around and said, "Who is that? I thought there was going to be a hero saving the beauty scene, but no." The blond young man had just run a few steps, then suddenly stepped on a puddle. Then he fell down. He fell face down in front of two fat and skinny guys. The fat guy saw the blond young man fall face down and looked down with a disdainful expression and said, "Shh, it's you." Then he and the skinny guy came forward and took turns stepping on the blonde hair. "So it's you, Lin Yu Shu. You want to be a hero, saving a beauty, just relying on you." Even though he was humiliated and beaten mercilessly, the young boy Yu Shu forced a smile and said, "Hee, it's me. Bullying a little girl is so boring. You guys can hit me. I can take a beating, really." The fat guy suddenly felt itchy in his ears when he heard that. He was so angry that his face turned red. They stomped even harder. It was as if they had fulfilled Yu Shu's request. As for Yu Shu, who was being stomped on, he could only curl up and hug his head, saying, "Ayo, good hit. If you hit me, you can't hit her. Oh my God, be gentle. Don't hit me in the face." Seeing her friend being beaten, Xiao Yao worriedly told the fat and skinny guys to stop beating Yu Shu. While she herself was trembling with fear, the cat she was holding was meowing. At this moment, Fatty and Thin glanced at Xiao Yao with animal eyes and said, "Okay, as long as you take it off yourself, we'll stop Hehe." Hearing these words, Xiao Yao couldn't believe her ears and opened her eyes wide. Then 2 lines of tears flowed down her face and she said, I. But Fatty continued to kick Yu Shu's head hard, saying, "You're not taking it off right. We'll kick him to death." The little girl was so scared that her face turned pale. Yu Shu was helpless and clenched his teeth. Xiao Yao was afraid that her friend would be trampled to death, so she decided to listen to Fatty and Skinny. She cried and said, "No, don't hit him anymore. I'll take off my clothes." Hearing that, Fatty and Skinny immediately smiled pervertedly and said, "Wouldn't it have been better to take it off earlier? Why do we have to force you?" Meanwhile, the boy Yu Shu behind was beaten until his eyes were swollen and bleeding. Even though he wanted to stop him, he could only helplessly shout, "Don't, Ju Yao. Don't take it off. If you take it off, then I would have been beaten up for nothing. Don't," but his shout had no effect. Xiao Yao was about to take off her clothes, while the 2 fat and skinny guys were still smiling pervertedly and licking their lips, wanting to see the little rabbit. Just when things were getting tense, someone behind me was hitting the trash can with a stick to make a sound inside. Hearing the noise, Fatty immediately turned his head around uncomfortably to see, what the hell is that noise? Oh shit, isn't this figure our dear main character? At this moment, the 2 fat and skinny guys turned to look back and heard Wang Ming say loudly, "I thought it was something else making all that racket. Turn out it's just a couple of pests. Don't say I didn't give you a chance. I'll count to 3 if you know what's good for you, then leave now." But Fat and Skinny, even though they saw the main character's strong appearance and sharp eyes, they still weren't afraid, and loudly asked, "Who do you think you are? I suggest you not to meddle in other people's business." But at this moment, Wang Ming immediately counted to 3. Then he looked fiercely at the fat guy and the skinny guy and said loudly, "Not running." "Haha, then you guys are done for." Seeing Wang Ming's domineering appearance, they were so scared that they broke out in a cold sweat and said they would leave immediately. But before they could run, the skinny guy saw the main guy's stick pointing in front of him. While feeling surprised by Wang Ming's incredible speed, he heard the number 3 being called out. His face immediately changed color, and he said, "I think you dropped number 1 and 2. Wang Ming, relying on the toy he had in his hand, said arrogantly, "Are you teaching me how to work?" Meanwhile, outside there was a pair of fat birds chilling and enjoying the breeze. But the next second, when they had gone their separate ways, they heard the sound of 2 fat and skinny guys screaming like pigs being slaughtered, crying and saying, "I was wrong, bro. Don't hit me in the face. Bro, don't hit me in the face." "We don't dare anymore," after saying that they immediately carried their swollen faces and ran away without daring to look back. Meanwhile, Wang Ming still stood there, arrogantly looking very cool. After seeing the other 2 guys being beaten and running away, Yu Shu stood up, dusted off his clothes, then attached the cannon to his beak and said, "Thank you. Actually, if you hadn't done anything earlier, I could have taken care of them." Hearing this, Wang Ming glanced at him with half an eye and smiled wryly. "Haha, really?" Having said that, Wang Ming reached out to Xiao Yao and the cat and asked, "Are you guys okay?" But Wang Ming's handsome face made the little girl's heart flutter. She raised her hand to him, her face red as a beetroot, shyly saying, "It's okay, thank you." The cat in her arms also meowed as if to say thank you to its benefactor. Suddenly, little girl Xiao Yao stuttered and asked, You are Wang Ming?" Wang Ming asked curiously, "Do you know me?" The little girl shyly replied, I'm sure you don't remember. You used to be my senior." Yu Shu heard that the main character was in the same school as him, so he didn't feel shy and immediately went up and patted his shoulder. "So it's a tradition in our school for heroes to save beauties." Although the main character was annoyed, he still tried to act friendly and replied to her, "Oh, I said, why does the uniform look familiar? If you hadn't told me, I would have almost forgotten." Then the next second, he was gone from Yu Shu's arms. Before leaving, he waved his hand coolly and said, "It's okay if you guys are fine. I have to work, I'm going first." Xiao Yao could only look at the main character's back and mumble, Brother Wang Ming. On this side, Wang Ming walked and thought by the way. I don't really know where to go. Suddenly, there was a clanking sound. The sound came from the familiar high-top shoes. And the familiar voice also spoke up. Go, don't even think about going anywhere. Wang Ming turned around and said, you are... In his heart, he felt like he had seen this woman somewhere before. Oh my God, who else could it be but the ticket inspector on the bus? She did not reply to Wang Ming at this time, but silently took out a sharp knife from her sleeve. Then she grabbed the knife and rushed towards the main character, shouting, "It's all you who made me become like this. I want you dead." At this moment, he also realized that the person in front of him was the ticket inspector. But suddenly Wang Ming was stunned and puzzled. When feeling the familiar flow of energy surging within, the next second his whole body was covered by the blood-colored stream of evil spirit tickets. The ticket inspector was still reaching out and rushing towards him. Said, "Don't run," and stabbed. But before the tip of the knife touched a single hair of Wang Ming, then suddenly he disappeared. She saw that and got angry and agitated, shouting, "Don't come back for me. Why enter the world of desire at this time?" Don't know how long it took, but Wang Ming finally opened his eyes. In front of him at this moment was a long table with lots of delicious food. On both sides there were many people sitting on chairs like him. But after what just happened, Wang Ming couldn't help but feel confused. Just now, why wasn't the ticket seller an NPC in the world of desire? Why did he appear in real life? Furthermore, why did I enter the world of desire? Can this thing still forcefully pull people? The others also started to panic. Who are you guys? Why did I suddenly appear here? Is this a world where desires can come true? What is this? Suddenly, a short-haired woman banged on the table and said, "Stop making noise." Then she picked up a plate and told everyone to look at their plates. Wang Ming followed her words and glanced down, then suddenly exclaimed, "Huh." On the white plate, a piece of paper gradually appeared. On the paper it says, "I heard that the villa was built on a grave with very heavy yin energy and needs 24 people to live there for 10 days before they can leave. During these 10 days, you can freely do whatever you want in the villa. Any furniture or food can be used freely, but absolutely do not leave the villa. 10 days later, I will open the main door. At that time, those who leave will hear the whispers of the gods." Signed by the villa owner. Just after reading the letter on the plate, suddenly disappeared, surprising Wang Ming and everyone. The others were panicked again. The house on the grave wants us to stay for 10 days. Isn't this using our strength to fill it? This is the world of desire. There are no ghosts. There are no ghosts, right? Wang Ming, after all, was someone who had just left the world of desire, so he was very calm at the moment. He rested his chin and said, "Grave, poor thing." This kind of keyword seemed to be the topic of the challenge this time. It was very difficult, not the underworld. Suddenly, someone's confident voice rang out, interrupting. He raised his wine glass and told everyone not to panic. "Actually, our situation is not bad now." Wang Ming looked over in confusion. When he heard the familiar voice, he saw Lin Yushu and the little girl Xiao Yao were sitting close to each other. Thinking to themselves, "It's them, the three of us entered the world of desire at the same time." The world of desire can still connect. The yellow-shirted shipper turned pale and pointed his finger, shouting, "We are all on the graveyard. Isn't the situation bad enough?" Lin Yushu calmly replied, "This is not true. Think about it. Have we ever lived in such a luxurious villa? Have we ever eaten such rich food?" Said then the boy again plucked a piece of meat, chewing, and continued, "Staying here for 10 days, can I finally fulfill my heart's desire? Isn't it good? Oh, it smells so good." Sipper heard Yushu's words and also felt something was wrong, but it sounded very convincing, so he mumbled, "That's right, huh? We can't go out anyway since things have come to this. Let's eat first." This little guy is right. After everyone finished speaking, they started to eat. Wang Ming sat in a corner and secretly thought that this kid was quite good at controlling his emotions. Wang Ming thought as he looked towards Yushu, who was eating and chatting with everyone. Wang Ming then left his chair again. Someone saw that and curiously asked where he wanted to go. Wang Ming heard the question and had to make up a reason to reply, "I have 3 urgent matters." In his heart, he always thought that something strange would suddenly appear to ensure safety. He went everywhere to check first. For those who don't know, this thought is the after effect of the trip to the blood-colored old people's hospital. A moment later, Wang Ming tried again. He put his hand on a door to test. The main door was indeed locked, but the light in the villa was not bad, and there was a faint floral scent. The house is mainly divided into living room, kitchen, dining room, and tea room. Wang Ming then went upstairs to check. The second floor has a gym, computer room, book room, dressing room, and other large and small rooms. Then go up to room 3. There is a sunroom filled with plants, a warehouse, a piano room, 2 rooms filled with dolls, and the rest are empty rooms that people can live in. Wang Ming finished walking and then slowly walked downstairs. Below, Yushu is laughing and joking with everyone. Suddenly, Wang Ming's face darkened as he realized that the reason he entered this world of desire was because he met a ghost. The ghost here was definitely referring to the evil bus ticket seller. Then suddenly the shipper looked scared and pale, pointing at the TV. I wonder if a ghost will come out of the TV later. Little girl Xiaoyao next to her heard that and was scared, turned around and said, No ghost, right? But just waiting for everyone around to laugh and tease her, seeing that Yushu told her not to be afraid because he was here. So if a ghost appeared, he would shout, Monster, go away. But before he could finish his sentence, the chandelier above suddenly swayed non-stop, as if a strong wind was blowing back and forth. Everyone saw that and was confused, not understanding what was happening. Suddenly the TV screen that everyone was watching suddenly got jammed. Then it projected an image of a well with a very poetic and horrifying scene. One person wondered if the ghost was coming out of the well, but then the TV returned to the state of static like a few seconds ago. Seeing that, everyone immediately happily said, It's just a bad signal. Everyone is doing it themselves. There's no such thing as a ghost. Just as he finished speaking, a sharp, hideous, demonic hand suddenly appeared from the TV screen, followed by the body of a long-haired, drowned female ghost with bright red eyes and a strong, fishy smell. As soon as they saw it, everyone ran away. Yushu did not forget to pull Xiaoyao to run with him, but while everyone had run away, there was only one girl who was so scared that she froze and stood still without moving. So she was immediately grabbed by the head by the female ghost. Tears also began to flow. She could only cry for help in despair. She cried blood and said, Don't. But the next second there was only a loud cracking sound. The girl's neck was no longer the same as before following the sound. Others saw this and their fear immediately increased. They had to shout at each other to quickly hide and avoid being killed like that unfortunate girl. Meanwhile, our main character remained calm and did not do or say anything. He picked up the TV remote and pressed the off button. The female ghost stopped immediately after Wang Ming pressed the off button. Then she screamed an incomprehensible scream before being sucked into the TV screen. Wang Ming stood proudly waving his arm, holding the TV remote in the mist. Mr. Shiper hid in a corner and exclaimed, Luckily, I have a great little brother like you. Another person said, The ghost disappeared. So we just had to turn off the TV. Then Wang Ming frowned and asked the shipper if his tongue cursed or something. The shipper immediately bowed his head and stammered that he didn't know anything either. Yushu immediately narrowed his eyes and approached, saying, Although you said so, but you said that the mama would come. It's still very possible. Who knows if you guys have any abilities? After all, in the world of desire, anything is possible. Hurry, you quickly tell me my Dioshan is on my waist to prove yourself. Hearing that, the shipper immediately followed Yushu's words. But he spoke too softly, causing Yushu to ask him to say it again, but louder. The shipper was also helpless, saying each word, My Dioshan is on my waist, but still nothing appeared. Yushu stopped forcing him and silently affirmed that the shipper was innocent. The main character stood in a corner watching for a while now, only knowing how to make a face of disbelief, wondering if doing that is okay. A moment later, everyone came to examine the body of the ugly girl who had just passed away. A worried man said with tears in his eyes, One person has died so quickly. How should we live these 10 days? A player named Mo Yu Mian stood in front, arms crossed in front of his chest, and replied, The death rate is always the highest at first. As long as we find a way to avoid it, there won't be any danger, the man said anxiously again. But I remember that anyone who has watched the movie will eventually die. Wang Ming stood with his chin in his hands and said, Not sure. If the mechanism is the same as the person on the TV, Then it's useless that I turned it off just now. Yu Mian said again. The ghost just now is a ghost from a Japanese movie. We saw it just now. So is there going to be another monster with a severed mouth next? But this time, Yu Mian's snout was active, bro. She had just finished speaking when the ghost of Sadako appeared with her giant pair of scissors. She hissed the familiar phrase, "Do you find me beautiful?" At this time in the living room on the first floor of the mansion, the ghost Sadako angrily slammed down, causing the floor to collapse. Then she smiled from ear to ear and looked at everyone with red eyes. Wang Ming also recognized Yu Mian. This time he intentionally mentioned the ghost of the woman with the cut mouth when he saw her smile. She must be probing. On this side, Yushu pulled Xiaoyao's hand, who was bewildered, and shouted to everyone, "What are you all still standing there for? Run quickly." Hearing this, the others also ran upstairs. But among them was a man who was slower than the others. So he was immediately chased by Sadako's soul. She asked again, "Am I pretty?" Then she put her hand on her chin and looked cute and scary, laughing hi-hi. At this moment, the slow man's legs were shaking non-stop with fear. His legs gradually lost strength and he collapsed, sitting there holding his head with a face distorted with fear. His mouth opened wide and he uttered the words, I don't know. Hearing that the ghost Sadako waved her scissors high in the air, laughed loudly and said, "You don't know, then go see your ancestors and ask them," she said, and then swung down, directly cutting off the flesh of the unfortunate man. Now he was just a pile of goo with blood and his body was cut in half. After finishing this life, Sadako glanced up and asked, "Am I beautiful? Am I beautiful?" One person saw that and turned pale, saying she didn't disappear. She still wants to continue killing people. Run quickly. At this time, the main character also entered a room in time. As soon as he entered, he quickly locked the door. Then he pressed his ear to the door and listened to Sadako's footsteps, thinking to himself, "She's going upstairs. If she comes in, he can only beat her up." Thinking, he immediately took out the evil spirit ticket. Suddenly, Yushu and Xiaoyao were hiding behind him. He shouted brother, making Wang Ming jump in surprise. Then he said that, "Don't be nervous. We'll be fine." Xiaoyao behind him also nodded, showing that he was right. Wang Ming turned his head and said, "Lin Yushu, Zhuao, you guys are here too." "Wait, what do you mean?" Yushu did not reply immediately, but pointed at Wang Ming's evil spirit ticket and said, "Brother, if I'm not mistaken, this is the prop you got in the previous game, right? I also received a special ability in the previous game. It's called Lucky." Wang Ming asked again. "The special ability you're talking about is the divine sequence." As soon as Ngok Thu heard Wang Ming mention the divine order, her eyes sparkled, and she said, "At first glance, I knew you weren't an ordinary person. I didn't expect you to know about the divine sequence." Then his nose grew long again, and he bragged about his abilities. "If you stay with me, you will definitely be lucky. There are so many rooms on the second floor, we absolutely won't be seen by that woman with a cut mouth. But life is not like a dream." As soon as he finished speaking, there was a loud knock on the door from behind. Then they heard someone continuously asking, "Am I beautiful? Am I beautiful?" And they knew right away who it was. Wang Ming then pointed at Yushu and shouted loudly, "Lucky right, I was so stupid to believe you. I think it's still unlucky." Yushu couldn't even wipe his face from cursing. He could only avoid Wang Ming's eyes and whisper, This is just an unexpected accident." While he was talking, suddenly, the door behind him was destroyed by the giant scissors of the ghost with a torn mouth. But luckily Wang Ming dodged it in time. His heart was also, he didn't have any internal organs. Ha! The ghost lifted its snout and put its face into the hole it had just made, bared its teeth and said, "Am I beautiful? Ha! Let me make you all as beautiful as me." Seeing that Yushu and Xiaoyao were crying and pale in panic, confused, "How did she get in here?" But bros, run quickly, or else your dick will be cut off. Because at this moment, the ghost with the torn mouth has strongly broken the door and rushed in. And its mouth keeps asking me if I'm beautiful. Am I beautiful? Right now, the main character had to take out the evil spirit's ticket. He activated the evil spirit's power and said, "Looks like I have to take a risk with you." The ghost with the torn mouth asked me if I was beautiful. Wang Ming coldly replied, "You are very beautiful. But don't be so beautiful in your next life," Wang Ming said, as he gathered his evil power into his fist. The main character of the series slowly opened his eyes. He said to himself in his sleep, "I'm so dizzy, where is this? Did I travel through time? Why am I here? And why does it suddenly feel empty? Empty, as if I had just fought 100 rounds with a woman. The more I wondered, the more my headache got." After a while, he struggled to sit up. The main character immediately looked around and saw some bloody tools. "There's also a knife here. Oh my God, this isn't blood, is it? Speaking of this," he turned pale and said in panic, "Don't tell me."